welcome in everyone to episode 84 of the Battlecats podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Peng, joined by my co-host, Speedy Chief 2.
Welcome in, everybody. Caleb, awesome to be back with you yet again. 84? Man, we're getting up there.
Dude, I don't think you'll all be able to hear this because you won't be able to catch it on the mic, and it's a little bit quieter right now, but they're legit like shooting some movie outside my room.
Dude,
Like,
why don't you go out there? Audition.
I don't know. I think it's like the film crew is so essentially right outside my studio is like I have like essentially like a wall window, right? And it sounds great, like floor to ceiling, almost
Sure.
ceiling. But the problem is I'm in a studio, so they can see into my entire living room and my bedroom, right? Like it's like directly in front of my bed. And it's the walkway between my buildings, and they literally set up like I guess like a film crew in the walkway. Like I don't even know how people still walk through the walkway anymore. I guess they go around, but they're filming something. I
Yes.
don't know what they are because I can hear the crew like all morning and stuff too. I don't think y'all be able to hear it. So anyway,
Dude. It was
what happens when you live
several
in
months
LA?
ago. It was several months ago, but I watched a movie on Netflix about a woman who moved to a new apartment complex in California. And
Okay.
she her neighbors are all really nice, like almost too nice, kind of suspiciously nice, you know.
Uh-huh.
And essentially it turns out I don't want to like spoil anything, but there were like some cults involved, and essentially it became a situation where you live there and you have to stay there like forever, like permanently, and if you leave, then we kind of like try to come and find you. So you know, I don't know what's going on with you over there.
I think
Maybe
they're just filming a movie. I don't think it's a cult, but
it could be that
but
movie. Could be that movie.
it could
The
be.
sequel.
It could be. I mean, it is very metropolitan outside my area, so that's a cult in the city, I guess.
I don't know. I'll send you the link so you can know what to look out for.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Anyway, so if you hear any, action or whatever, it's not me. It's not me. I'm not a
Hey,
ventriloquist.
not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Look, before we get into the news and all the other stuff, let's dive into the questions from last week and comments. 8chip5 says, "Do you think it would be a good addition to the game if there was a chance at getting a Grunt's final Pokemon, but it was the same odds as a shiny or something? I think it would be great." I actually really like that idea, because I feel like, you know. Pros and cons. 'Cause I feel like some of those final stage, or final Pokemon are not released yet into the game, right? Are there any at this point that have not been released yet as shadows?
Ooh. I'd really have to sit down and think about it. I'm
Maybe
not exactly
not. I
sure.
guess, right? Like I'm thinking like Dragonite, Gardevoir. They're all been released. I
Mhm.
think when they were we had the Rockets, that wasn't the case. So my only hesitation with that is if there's certain ones that are not released that are really good, it'd
Mhm.
almost be like as rare as like trying to get a Galarian bird, right? For like
Yeah.
I always get so annoyed sometimes when you face like Galarian birds in like PvP. I'm like, yeah, like it's kind of a flex to beat me with a Galarian Zapdos, but like people can't even use this if they want to, right? Like
True.
I'm not gonna prep for this because I don't expect most people to even have it. But
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of really rare rockets, I actually had a Tampa local of mine post on Twitter. He got the Shadow Party Hat Raticate,
I did
which
not
is
try to grind hard enough for that thing. But it was
yeah,
also
which is
like
pretty cool.
raining a lot in LA, and it like never
Yeah,
rains. So
yeah, true,
um,
true.
I
Uh, I'm looking at the full list now. A lot of these are like evolutions, right? So the third
mhm.
tier is usually like a Scizor, or it's a Muck or something.
Okay,
Um, and I think a lot of these have already been released. I was looking at, for example, like Hippowdon,
yeah, that's been
being
released too. Yeah.
the third tier. I mean,
Uh-huh.
essentially, you'd like skip a tier and you wouldn't have to like grind for the under evolution. But I don't know if that's like a huge
I
priority for
Yeah,
people.
I wouldn't mind that. I think though actually
Yeah.
the only downside of that is if you get a third stage evolution that has like a community exclusive move. Like I was
True,
like,
true.
do you really want something? No, I was
Yeah,
gonna say T-Tar, but you don't really need the Smackdown as much, in a lot of situations.
yeah,
What's a good third stage evolution Pokemon that like a Charizard maybe, right? Like if you get a
yeah.
Shadow Charizard on the third one, I don't even know if
Mm.
it's the third one. Sometimes it's the second, but for at least the leaders. But if you get that as a third one, like I'm like, dude, that's at least two. That's
Yeah.
like two elite TMs you need to spend these days, right? The wing attack
True.
and
True.
the blaster. But I mean, I think it'd be cool. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? If you get it, it's not great IVs, like whatever, right? It's still kind of cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that addition actually. It'd be kind of
Yeah.
cool to have the ability to.
So
Um,
I've had this idea for a while. Speaking of rockets, and not to get on too much of a tangent, but I think it'd be really cool if some gyms got taken over by rockets.
mm,
And essentially, it would be kind of like a raid boss, right? Like your gym has been taken over. You can't place a new Pokemon here because it's being occupied.
mhm.
And essentially, what it would be is it would only show up as a black and red gym once you got close enough to it because it's a Team Rocket hideout. And in that gym,
Mm.
you could fight like three grunts and then a leader, and it'd be a really quick way to like get your rocket radar pieces and then fight leaders more consistently. And maybe they have a different
Oh.
pool, but I think it'd be
Wait, so
neat.
there's a guaranteed leader at the end?
I think that would be the ideal, right? I was
Okay.
like, should it be three grunts or should it be six grunts? Because if it was six grunts, you could do all six of your pieces and then fight the leader right afterwards. But
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
know if,
thinking.
yeah, right, that would be
Yeah.
great. I don't know if Niantic would go for that. But it'd be cool to like team up with friends and fight Team Rocket because you haven't been able to do that. When you fight Team Rocket,
Mhm.
it's always a solo mission, right? I'm always fighting Sierra by myself. I'm always, fighting grunts by myself. A team based approach to rockets would be really fun.
Maybe they could, even if it's not like a permanent addition, they could do that for these rocket takeover events. Because there's already a bunch of
Exactly.
rocket stops and stuff. Throw a bunch of those things in the gyms as well. Like that's a true takeover. They're in the gym. They're in the
Yeah.
Pokestop. They're in the
Yeah.
balloons. They're coming every. They're coming at you from every direction, right? Maybe they should
Exactly.
pop out when you're like doing random raids later too. Like a little
Stop.
shadow. Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Go
Like
ahead.
you finish off like the Tapu Koko, and then all of a sudden like there's a Shadow Dragonite that you had to beat too before you could catch anything, right?
Yeah, the rocket confronts you and they're like, hey, we saw you caught that very rare Pokemon. We're going to take it from you.
Oh
So you have to
yeah.
fight them.
Yeah, yeah. You have to fight them
Dude.
to have a chance of even catching it.
Dude, I'm telling you, I hope Niantic is listening. I know they're probably not, but man,
Give us a signal if you are, you know? Give us a
yeah, give
signal.
us a sign. Come
Maybe
on.
give release Meowth with like uh I'm trying to think something that makes it imply battle. Like a war helmet. A war helmet Meowth. Like
Dude,
costume. Dude, that would
dude,
be
what if
wild. There's no way that there's no way that can mean anything else, right? Like a medieval war helmet on a Meowth. Like that'd be so out of place.
dude, that'd be so lit. What if
That would be
during
the
Team Rocket
sign.
takeovers, you could get a Meowth that learns payday, and then when you use that Meowth in battle, it gives you 10 coins for the day.
You're saying this is the sign they should give us?
Yeah,
Dude,
Meowth with
that's
payday
you're asking for a lot. You're asking for a new move, and then for them
and a
to
new
give us
mechanic.
coins. Yeah,
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 10 free
dude.
coins a day.
Whoever's
Let's go.
listening to this from Niantic's probably like, dude, I'm not risking my job to try to implement this. Like,
They're
I'm just
probably
gonna
like, all
listen in
right.
silence. Yeah, this is the
They're probably
last
like,
episode I listened to.
no, they're probably like, okay, time to skip to the tea segment.
Yeah, right. What up, girl? My cat is here again. Oh, what? I don't understand. You came here. You came here.
Dude.
Um. All right, FOMO one says, regardless of how OP it would be, if you could add a move to any Pokemon that it currently doesn't have, what PvP monster would you create? Legit moves only, though. We can't break the move rule set by the Pokemon Company. All right, so something that like Pokemon can actually learn, I guess.
Yeah, I actually had a few ideas on this, so I'll pull that up while I think about it.
Counter Bastiodon. Counter Bastiodon learns counter and Mud Shot. I'll take either.
uh,
I'll take both.
um, okay, I'll give you this one. If you give Feraligatr Shadow Claw, it
Mm-hmm.
becomes one of the most busted things in Ultra League. It's
You get
like
Feraligatr what?
Shadow Claw.
Really?
Yeah, it gets insane if you
Does
look at
it
the
be
matchups in
Lantern?
Ultra. Oh, in
Yo,
Ultra, I'm not sure.
let me tell you, Lantern Ultra League is busted. I've been
Is it
using it
really?
still factions. It's like a cheat code, and
Dude,
it's not a restricted pick either. It literally
I,
incorporates so many things. And like it's like 2300 something CP I think without
mhm,
the best
mhm.
buddy, and
Yeah,
you're
it's
like
tiny.
beat. You could like hang even with the Deoxys defense and Cobalion. Like I'm just doing neutral damage. It's kind of nuts. But I hate it at the same time because Lantern just increases like more RPS.
True,
Unfortunately.
true.
Let me see how much CP it actually gets to. But
Yeah. If you give Feraligatr Shadow Claw and Ultra League, it beats Trevenant because it has Crunch. Shadow
Mm,
Claw Crunch, and it also has Hydro Cannon. It goes from 16 wins to 23 wins if you give it Shadow Claw.
okay, okay. All right, let me clarify. It goes to it's still in 2300 even when you best buddy it a hundo. All right, let's check out Bastion real quick here.
All right. Let's see Shadow
Uh,
Feraligatr. Shadow Feraligatr gets 25 wins. Jeez.
okay, okay.
It beats stuff like Tapu Fini, Toxicroak, Swampert, Poliwrath. It picks up Nidoqueen. Jeez. It becomes insane.
All right, so Mudshot's not helping Bastion that much against the Galarian Stunfisk matchup. I mean, obviously that's of course they're baiting Rock Slide, so you're not going to outpace there. But
Yeah, sure.
no, you don't win with counter either. You win with counter if you're like you have one shield advantage. It's because they keep baiting with Rock Slides. All right, let's say they go
Mm.
straight Earthquake. Oh no, counter doesn't help you that much. What? It's not as good as I thought it was.
Uh-oh.
Oh shoot! All right,
Uh-oh.
Bastion
What's
versus Galarian Stunfisk. Even with Mudshot, it doesn't even win in any of the even shields. It only wins in a 2-0 shield advantage if they're going straight Earthquake. You know what this means? It's time to
what?
buff up Bastion right now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think that's the play. That's the play. You don't beat Swampert either with Mudshot. I mean, that's not going to help that much because you have resisted charge moves. Maybe counter? Nah, you good. You good. Bastion ain't broken. Come on now. Come on now. What's something else? Registeel. Let's take a look at Registeel. I
Oh
think
man.
you probably still lose to Registeel now that I think about it. Oh, you beat Registeel in the one shield with counter.
Oh my god.
It's pretty good. So you can't counter swap Bastion for sure. And you only beat it in the 1-0 shield with Mudshot, but with one Mudshot advantage, you're trying to counter swap. You still lose. It's close. It's close. Yeah.
We
This is actually
need
not that broken. Maybe we got to give Bastion on lock on or something instead.
we need
That's the
people in the
play.
comments to sound off. If they're afraid of counter Bastiodon, please let us know.
There's nothing to be afraid of, you know. There's nothing to be afraid of. Just maybe the Registeel matchup, but that's about it. You can't smack down things anymore. It's actually, you know what this means? Bastion's a higher skill Pokemon now because no fasting pressure. You know, it's not like you
True.
can't run this Shadow Vic Bastion team with counter now.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
It's not the same at
You're actually
all.
worse than
Yeah.
the meta. Well, no, you're probably not worse than the meta champ. You're probably not any better though. But um,
I don't know how much we're going to talk about Orlando today. It's not like one of our main topics, but I do think we will see some Bastiodon in Orlando.
oh yeah, we should talk about it. Well,
Mhm.
I'll ask you why in a little bit.
Okay.
Although
Okay.
I have a prediction on why.
Oh.
Ian Danger says, "How long before we hear about Butters? Need to get this lad on the podcast." Yeah, we should. Maybe
We
we should get
should.
him on the day that Ampharos actually does something.
It made it to day 2. I guess we missed our chance.
Yeah, I mean, no hate on this, but their day 2 in Liverpool was a little different. It was like a top 16 or something. But to be fair, the guy also made it to the winner's side of day 2, so maybe it kind of balances out. But their brackets were, I think they had a battle. Maybe they had to battle less opponents to make it to day 2. I think that's what it
Yeah, I
was
guess because I
because
guess
they had to do more
16.
battles on day 2. But
Yeah.
I think like they had less first round or day 1 opponents as a result because there's like more brackets, right?
Mhm.
I think it would be equivalent if they had like maybe 256, but they had 160. So the brackets themselves were smaller on day 1, I think, if I have to
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, I think
But
that's how it broke down.
anyway, yeah, we'll definitely get in touch with Butters. We'd love to have him on. You know what? It would be good. Maybe we should have him on after March 1st so that we can recap the fact that Ampharos didn't do anything successful,
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
meaningful in play Pokemon for the recent brutal swing bump. Look, I mean, making top 16 or top 12, whatever, is not like it's
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 nothing to
it's no
snuff at,
small feat, but
It's no
we
small
we had
feat.
a Lucario make top 8 at North America International Championships in a stacked field. That is way more impressive than an Ampharos, in my opinion, right? Like when you
Mhm.
got Noctowls all over the place, like Ampharos, like, I mean, it kind of makes sense. But
Yeah.
Lucario, what? Like,
That was really
can you
amazing. That
barely
was
even take
Trainer
an
Rim.
icicle spear? I mean, I know you could, but barely,
Yeah.
barely.
That was Trainer Rim for those of you that
Yeah,
may not have been tracking it. He was super impressive with Lucario. I actually watched back his
no
battles with
Medicham.
Kaiser.
Yeah,
Yeah, no Medi. And his battles with Kaiser were a lot of fun.
no Medi. Yeah, kind of wild.
Yeah.
But Ryan Colgrove says, I'm going to do one Registeel, but I am one of those people with 4 Shadow Mewtwo's, and I don't regret it. One for each league for fun, plus 1 is 15 attack, so I'll take that. I think we all have these Giovanni legendaries, like Caleb said, low odds of something good PP or Hundo, but gotta roll the dice on something. Kyogre or Groudon Shadow will probably be more valuable than Reggie's anyway in the long run, whenever the heck we get those.
Mhm.
That's true. I mean, that is the one thing is like, yeah, I talk about like, man, what are the odds you get a good like IV Shadow? But at the same time, Registeel. But at the same time, like, what are the odds I wouldn't get a good IV Shadow Regirock, right? Or
Yeah,
Hundo
true,
Kyogre or
true.
Groudon.
Yeah.
But
It's like
I don't
it's like
know. Anyone listening, I still advise against it, right? I still advise against it. A Registeel is a tough one too, because Mewtwo I get. Like the extra attack on Mewtwo, like sure, those cycle cuts might hit a break point. You might hit some break points on the charge
it's not
moves. Side
it's not worth it
strikes come
though.
at you kind of quick, right?
That's true. That's true.
You know, the
Yeah.
what's the Registeel going to do? Like 1 damage on the lock on to an extra 0 damage on the lock on, right?
I mean, I was looking at Great League Registeel, and attack weighted Registeel can beat Stunfisk in the ones, if I recall. I don't know. I think the
Yeah.
Focus Blast is just
Do
enough
you
more
do you do
damage.
you one shot it? Is that what happens?
No, I think the Focus Blast does enough damage where you can lock on down. Let me confirm.
Yeah, but why does it have to be attack weighted? Can a rank one shadow
Because
Registeel still do the same thing?
because the Focus Blast does more damage if you're attack weighted.
Oh, I see. I see.
So it's like yeah, let me run this real quick. I'll tell you. So okay, so regular Registeel Focus Blast does roughly 69% to Stunfisk, whereas the Shadow does 82.8.
Okay, but what about a high attack weighted shadow? You're trying to justify the attack weighted one in case you get one, right?
Yeah,
I get
the
it.
the attack weighted does 86.9. So I guess slightly more. Let's
Does it actually
see.
flip the matchup?
No, I mean Galarian Stunfisk still wins in the ones, but you're 4 turns behind in terms of getting to your second Focus Blast. So like,
Look, when we have a
eh.
casters tournament, you bring that shadow ready still. You know, you bring it. We'll see what
Okay.
happens. We'll see what happens. I'll be one shotting with my zap cannons on the regular one.
Ooh,
No,
yikes!
no, it won't be that. It won't be that extreme. But
No.
yeah, no, it's solid points. I think I'm still gonna
Uh,
hold on to mine. But
yeah, I'm very much in Caleb's camp when it comes to like breaking the bank for this thing. I will get one, like we talked about before, but I really don't think you should spend all your reserve radars. I really
no,
wouldn't.
definitely not all of them. Yeah, definitely
No.
not all of them. But King Duckspool says, I think a good bet would be least battles to hit legend, quality over quantity, and evens the field for speedy. Yeah, see the problem here, King Duckspool, I don't think is a bad suggestion, is that this man barely battles, so when he tries to hit legend at like the last like 2 weeks of the season, it's going to be way less battles than me. So that's the only problem. Because you could hit I'm not saying it's easy, but you can hit legend in like less than like 300 battles if you start at like the last 2 weeks or something of the
Yeah,
season. Because it's much harder to gain elo than it's much easier to gain elo at that rate than it is early on. Like to hit legend really quickly early on is
that's tough.
incredible grind. Yeah, it's like
It's very
near
tough.
it's I don't even know the first few in the world can do it like under like no, they probably can't even do under 500, 600 battles actually. I don't think about it.
Yeah. It's really tough. I think that's a good I think I like the thought, right? I think that's
Yeah.
good, to
That is
kinda
a good way
change
to
up.
even the playing field, though. I will say that.
I'll also say, and I'm not, I never want to defend Caleb here, but I will say as well that Caleb does experiment with a lot of things. He plays all of his battles to try to find good teams for his Patreons and his content as well. So like, I'm not relying as much on my YouTube and Twitch content right now. So I think it would be a super disadvantage for Caleb as well
Wow.
because then
I
he
don't
can play
know.
around as much. You
I mean,
know,
it's not nice you say that, but every time I tune into your stream, I see that freaking what's that thing
Fortress,
called?
bro,
Fortress. Yeah,
the
that in
potato.
itself is the yeah, that in itself is the greatest equalizer. Like if I'm feeling I'm like, shoot, is he going to catch up? And I look, I'm like, nah, we're good today. He's run the
Nah, don't
fortress
worry.
again. He's run the fortress. He's
Well,
being generous here. It's like he's like Santa Claus here. Santa Speedy,
well,
Santa
dude,
Chief.
getting wins with Fortress is super rewarding, especially when everybody's tryharding with their most meta stuff. And then you come in with a
True.
potato dude and you just ruin their day. Oh, love it.
How often does potato come through?
I'd say like 1 out of every 3 games or so.
Okay, not too bad, not too bad. It's just like the chance of not getting a debuff on Zap Cannon, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, did you hear my quote in San Diego? I actually quoted Anchorman in
What
San
did you
Diego.
say?
I
I watched
said
all the VODs back, but I may have missed it.
I
Okay,
said
I will say this. Before people come at me with the pitchforks, right? I'm gonna say it, right? I'm gonna say people still be coming at me with pitchforks. I haven't seen Anchorman yet.
all right, dude. All right. I think you should have a
Honesty's
Patreon
my
movie night.
it's my trait.
You should watch Step Brothers and Anchorman. So if I tell you the joke, you're not going to get it. So let's just move on.
Yeah, I won't. I probably won't. Maybe you should tell for our listeners. They
Okay,
probably want to
okay.
hear
For
it.
our
They want to hear it.
listeners, and,
Yeah, for the
and
listeners.
this isn't a spoiler or anything. So when you see it, you'll be like, "Oh, that's what he meant."
Yeah.
So Registeel Zap Cannon debuffs 66% of the time, right? I said on the cast, I said 66% of the time it debuffs every time. And see, you don't know the joke. It's
Mm.
actually a Paul Rudd quote. His character
Gotcha,
says it.
gotcha. I
But
think
yeah,
Gabby said something similar too.
yeah. She probably heard me. But yeah,
I feel
and
like she said
and
something
every
about like my
human
yeah, I don't know, but
every human caster besides you has seen Anchorman. I guarantee it. So I'm sure she understood.
Hey, what did he say? Every human caster?
Yeah.
Oh, as opposed to what, like an AI caster? Like, what's the other
No,
alternative? Like my cat
I'm setting
casting,
the
or
I'm setting the bar really low. If you're a human being and you cast, you've probably seen that movie.
besides
Just
me? Well,
emphasis.
I
Just let
take
you
the
know.
compliment. You're calling me a one of a kind. That's very nice
It's
of you.
true.
Very
Yeah, a
nice of you.
robot or a cat bot or something.
It's both. The perfect hybrid. Speaking about robots, yo, I went on like a wild binge last night. I started watching The Matrix.
Yeah,
Have you seen The
great
Matrix?
movies.
You seen The
Of
Matrix, right?
course,
All
of
four,
course.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
multiple
fourth
times.
one's kind of a letdown. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I watched like okay, I didn't watch the first one because I was just like because I think I was watching part of the second one at some point and it said continue
yeah,
watching and I was doing my GBL, so I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I don't want to watch something new or like something with subtitles because I'm not going to be able to read it,
yeah.
with like something in a different language. So I just have it in the background. I finished all my GBL battles and I'm just like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's just see how this rest of play out. I'm like, man, I was like, maybe I should watch the third one now. And I just actually watched the third one from like begin to end. And then the fourth one, I was just like, I'm just going to fast forward through the end. It's just like the
It's
plot takes
yeah,
forever to build up to, and then like it's like
yeah,
the payout is like pretty minimal, I would say.
yeah. It's I agree. I agree. It's kind of underwhelming, right? You're like, oh my god, that actually happened. Okay, I'm over it. You know.
Yeah, the first three were pretty decent. I know a lot of people hated on the second one for some reason, which I don't. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah,
like the best like acting in the world, but it wasn't that bad. Like I've seen way
yeah.
worse. The plot was still like interesting. They just had a lot of fight scenes, I guess, but like
True.
for
We
this.
saw this as well with Daniel Craig's James Bond when he did God, I just had it in my mind. Quantum of Solace. He did that movie and it felt like the plot kind of drug on. It was kind of like, I don't know really know what's going on. That's what the second Matrix felt like at times for me. I was like, I
Dude,
guess this is cool. They're fighting again, but what are we doing?
not a
Where are we
good day
going?
for you, man. I haven't seen any of Craig James. Not Craig
Dude,
James. Craig Daniel Craig.
Daniel
Craig James is
Craig,
a
yeah.
Pokemon Go player.
I was
It
saying if
is
he was
Craig
James
James.
Bond, it would be a
He
different
actually
James
kind of
Bond.
could play the role, I think, based on how he looked. Have you met him before?
I think I've seen him before, but I know his
He's like
personality,
six.
right?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's got to be acting. He's not gonna. He can't be Craig James here, right? But he's like 6'5" and like this jack. Maybe he's like too big or something. He's like jacked with
Maybe.
like peppered gray hair. Kind of fits the
Yeah,
James Bond look. Maybe he's too big,
you could do it.
but yeah, no, I haven't seen any of the Daniel Craig James Bond. I didn't. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's
Kill
just
him.
me, but I used to watch what's his name, Pierce Brosnan's James Bond, right?
Uh-huh.
Growing up as a kid, that was our generation. And when they when I saw them cast Daniel Craig, I'm like, dude, they went from like this suave dude, right? Like that's how you expect. Like James Bond's like suave. He's like good at stuff.
Mhm.
He's like he's dapper. And you go to
Yep.
like this rugged looking Daniel Craig guy that looks like already kind of old
Much more rugged.
because James Pierce Brosnan was like, I mean, he was getting old, so that's why he retired from the role, I guess, or they
Mhm.
retired him. But when they picked up Daniel Craig, I was like, what? Did they picked up like a 40-year-old guy? Like I was like, what? Like this?
So
Like
it,
for what? Like another 2 years?
So there was a general shift in movie making. I think it actually had something to do with The Dark Knight. Because prior, right, you had like Tim Burton's Batman, which was kind
Mhm.
of campy, kind of silly. You know,
Yeah.
it's still fun, like a comic movie.
Uh-huh.
And then you had The Dark Knight come out, and then you had Iron Man, and everything else follow that. I feel like they tried to inject more like realism, and that's why
Mm.
he's like more rugged. He's like he doesn't have many emotions. It's not like all about like gadgets and being like cool and that kind of stuff. It's more about like
Ah.
practical like spy combat.
I get that, but it's like almost like what's his name? Was it Matt Damon in the Born
Yeah.
series?
Uh-huh.
Like
That's him.
that's like a less campy, like intense version, but he looks the part more.
Sure.
I don't know. He
Sure.
on Daniel Craig too. I mean, he was good at Knives Out, but
Yeah. I
I don't
mean,
know.
I know that like you said, we grew up with Pierce Brosnan's movies coming out, but Daniel Craig is definitely my Bond. Like that's the one I like the most. Sean Connery's a
Really?
close second.
Maybe I
Yeah.
should start looking into that. I
I
will say I did start one of the 007 movies, like the Daniel Craig ones, when I
yeah.
was GBL the other day, and I like didn't pay attention to any of it. That's why
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah,
why I
yeah.
went to Matrix
I just
afterwards.
I just feel like you're not much of a movie guy, man. That's just like my read on this.
No, I watch some movies. I just don't watch the movies you watch, I guess.
I
Yo, I'm a
guess.
big Quentin Tarantino fan.
Oh, dude, of course. He's a
Yeah,
genius. Of
yeah,
course.
he is good. Hateful Eight was a good one. I rewatched that recently, the extended version.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. It got
Dude,
taken off.
speaking of movies, I don't understand how Way of the Water has already passed up Avengers Endgame.
Okay, I haven't seen that one yet, but that's only
I don't
because
get
like
it.
I don't have any friends in LA to go watch it with.
Dude, I don't understand. I don't like Avatar is like mid. It's mid for me. I'm like, okay.
Really? I like the first one a
Yeah.
lot. I didn't watch the second one though. What do you
I don't
like
know.
more? I mean, I think the Marvel stuff is fine. Uh, in my honest opinion, I think ever since well, spoiler for anyone for mute out like the next 10 seconds. Ever since Tony Stark died and Captain America was like retired,
Phase
whoever.
4 is a mess, dude.
Yeah, it's just not as good. I like Black Panther a lot.
Yes.
That one was decent, but outside of that, like the other ones have been very underwhelming.
Yeah.
I know Ant
Phase
Man's
4 is a
coming out
mess.
soon, and that one looks interesting. But yeah, it's just like they're like missing. They're missing that like core leader to
Yeah.
pull everything. There's missing the glue. There's no glue.
Well,
You dropped both sets of glue, right? Like
Tony was the heart, or no, excuse me, Tony was the brain, right? I
yeah,
know that the arc reactors in his chest, everything, but Tony was the brain, right?
yeah.
He was cool, he was forward
Of
thinking,
course
he
he's
was
the
innovative,
brain. Captain America's
and
just dumb.
and Captain America was the heart, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that was your core, and they both left, and then, dude, we could do a whole podcast just about this, but I feel like they've really kind of fumbled the bag when it comes to leadership and introducing new characters, for sure,
Somehow this stemmed from King Duxpool's question about the
dude.
the
We
battle
went down a
selection.
rabbit hole.
I don't even know where. Like when I crawled that rabbit hole, I'm gonna be like, where did that come from? You know?
Like in the Matrix, dude. Follow the white rabbit. Remember?
Oh, I like it. I like
Tied it
it.
together.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was because I said something about Matrix at one point. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
wrap up. Hey, Chris says, have y'all seen those buttons that your cat or dog can press to speak to you? Look, I don't. I no, I haven't. But the thing is, like, I'm kind of scared because I don't want my cats pressing this button like all night. Be like,
Yeah.
be like, I want food or like whatever the
Yeah.
button says.
Dude, I saw one. I forget if it was a skit or a movie or something, but there was one instance in a show where they answer that question, like, "What if your animal could speak to you?" And it was not what you expected. It was like, "I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored." Just over and over again. It's like,
uh,
God, couldn't take it.
I think I pretty much know how my cats feel without them needing to press a button. I think I for the most part do. Sometimes I'll wake up and they'll just be like tapping me on the face with their paw. I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
get it. The food bowl's
Like get
empty.
up.
I know how it goes. Yeah. Also, apparently, like I don't know how dogs are, but for cats, they don't sleep long sleeps. They sleep like very short spurts because in the
Yeah.
wild they just can't survive if they're like napping like 10 hours a day, right? Then they're like
True.
some predator's gonna come to them. So for
Mhm.
them, like they usually like stand around humans when they're sleeping, like long sleep, not
Mhm.
naps, because they're worried that someone's gonna take you out while you're sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same reason that dogs, when they go outside and they use the bathroom, they tend to look at you, make eye contact with you
Oh, so you can
because they're
protect them, right?
vulnerable and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
want to make
yeah.
sure that you're protecting them while they use the bathroom.
Cats do something similar, except it's the other way
Yeah.
around. When they're peeing and stuff, they don't really care what you're doing. But when you're using the bathroom, they'll come and watch you. They always
Yep.
come in the toilet because they're like, well, we gotta protect you while you're vulnerable, right? You gotta keep the
Exactly.
pact strong, right? Can't catch you with their pants down.
Literally.
Literally. Omniaki says Caleb's Japanese pronunciation needs a little work after that Naruto question. Yo, look, it's not even the Japanese pronunciation. That reminds me though. I need to start learning my Japanese for Worlds. But I qualified. You know. So
Uh-huh.
we gotta go. I love
You're
the
going no
cast
matter
too,
what.
but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. No word on that yet. Omniaki's. Yeah. Anyway, I haven't seen Naruto's the problem, right? What was it? Naruto, Sasuke, Boruto. It's not too
Yeah.
bad, right? We're
Yeah.
okay. What'd I miss? It's funny. Remember how last
Boruto's
episode
improving.
I was like, "Yo, I'm taking my earphones out. Like, I'm not
No
listening."
spoilers.
Yeah, but then when I'm
You
editing, I
need to
still
watch it
heard
back.
everything. I heard
Oh
everything. Yeah, when I
no.
listened. But it's fine. You didn't actually spoil it much, so you didn't spoil
Okay.
anything actually, so it wasn't a big deal.
Okay.
But I was just laughing
Okay.
at it. I was just like, man, what's the point of all that when I'm going to listen back
Yeah.
to
You're like, dang it. Oh well.
it? Yeah. Front Fight says the cap is not high. The cap is 40 kilometers. Oh, so I think they meant like how much you can like defit or not even defit walk per day for XL candies. 40 kilometers
Yeah.
a day is actually not that much. So
Yeah, I thought it'd be
people
more.
just defitting or rocking more than that to hatch eggs? I guess because it's not for the
Yeah,
XLs at that point, right? It must be just for the eggs.
I thought it'd be more than that personally. I'm
Yeah, I thought it would
surprised.
be more too. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't think I've ever walked 40 kilometers in one day.
No.
No,
It's let
no,
me just
that's
do
a
the
lot.
conversion while we're talking. So if you walk 40 kilometers in a day, that's 24.85 miles.
I mean, I guess it's
24
possible if you're running like a
miles.
marathon or something, but well, what you rolling ice for?
Dude,
If I'm running a
I,
marathon, I'm definitely hatching eggs, or you
no,
know.
no, it's not you. It's not you. I won't say names, right? But
Uh-huh.
do you remember that one factions teammate matchup where their opponent said they worked in a warehouse and that's how they like leveled their Giratina from 42 to
I do
46
remember
in like a
that. It
week?
was against my
I work
teammate
in a
too.
warehouse. I walk a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was against my teammate too. Yeah, it was back
That,
when Giratina weren't back in raids, so to have an XL Giratina back then was like pretty broken. I think like I agree. I think the early pains of XL grinding with compared to people that were using rockers and defit and spoofing before you could even get like XLs for walking and stuff, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Was a little rough because there were definitely sizable advantages of having those XL Pokemon early on. But these days, like
Mhm.
it's much more manageable, so I think it's less of an issue. But again,
Mhm.
we've beat this topic like a dead horse, so it's
That's
fine.
true. That's true.
Yeah, but that is good to know. Thank you for informing us from fight. But yeah, 40 kilometers is a lot less, so I guess Niantic is aware. Keith says regarding Scatterbug slash Crab Brawler Paldea stuff, Misleadious Chief too.
Dude,
That's right. That's right.
I'm telling you, I just need to do a bit
Re-
more research before I open my mouth.
you know, if only that research could lead you to if you'll win a bet or not.
Hey, that's to be determined. Right?
And then Gawker says first, thank you, Caleb Speedy. Yeah, the first comment. Yeah, that was impressive too. Impressive first from last week because we didn't even post on the same time. But
Yeah,
those are all our
exactly.
questions from
So
this past
for
week.
reference here, if you I picked LA because I thought you'd be familiar. If you go from Torrance, right, which is
Yeah.
southwest
Yeah, I know where
California,
Torrance is. Yeah. I haven't been there,
if
but
you
I know
go
the general location.
if you walk 28 miles in a day, you're essentially walking from Torrance to the Griffith Observatory. That's how far you're
I don't know where the
walking
Griffith
in one
Observatory
day.
is. That does sound pretty far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in Glendale basically.
I guess if you're like on vacation, right? Like if you're walking around a city or like I'm thinking like Italy, right? I feel like it's a very walkable city. You could just be walking around all day. Like I know there definitely are people that plenty of people that could still walk 40 kilometers or more in a day during that
Sure.
time. But on a regular basis,
Debatable.
there was this one guy. I think he ran a marathon every single day of the whole year. Did you
Hmm.
hear about that guy?
That's I did not, but that's
Yeah,
insane.
it was. That's a lot.
When do you recover? You know?
After you finish the race, I guess, for the night. Yeah, it was a long year. Well,
Jesus.
the more impressive thing is how this guy found a official marathon to run every single day for a full year. Like, not
That's
it's
also
not like
true.
you're running a marathon in the same town. Like, he was traveling around the entire country, like in the
Mm,
U.S. And like,
Jesus.
so like, imagine running for a couple hours and then being like, all right, I get on plane. Like, dude, the recovery, like
Dude,
laying sitting on a plane after running a marathon, dude, that sounds brutal.
was it some kind of charity thing he was doing?
He was doing, I think, I think there was some charity component to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there was some charity component to it. I don't remember. I read this like many, many years ago. Yeah, and I think his fastest marathon was like 3 hours and something minutes, which is
Oh my
pretty quick.
god.
Yeah, but that's the fastest
Dude.
one, right? I don't know. Anyway, we have some topics to cover, some events. We have the Primal Reversion event. So I'm gonna mark that real
Yes.
quick. If you're watching the YouTube, we have it on screen right now, and this is event tied into the Pokemon Go Tour Hoenn Las Vegas events,
Hmm.
which is February 18th to the 19th. And then there's also the Go Tour Hoenn Global event, which is February 25th to the 26th.
Hmm.
And yeah, so that's a 2-day event too. I believe the Vegas event is like it's like there's 2 days, but you can only get a ticket for one of the days. Whereas the
Okay.
global event, I think that's
Similar to Go
actually just a
Fest.
2-day. Yeah, I think the global event's actually just a 2-day event for everyone. Is
Okay.
my guess, right? But yeah. Anyway, so after you defeat Groudon and Kyogre in these raids, the primal raids, you get primal energy. And with the primal energy, you can essentially, let me just make sure I have my info correctly.
Sure.
You level them up with like level up their primal forms, just like mega evolutions.
Yeah.
What you use mega energy for, not mega candy, because I know Tostel's, he's a burst of blood vessel every time he uses to say mega candies. But
True.
mega energy. Anyway, so just like mega energy, you're using the primal energy to power up the primal Groudon and Kyogre. And here's the cool thing: what's the benefit, right? What's the benefit? Also, whenever you catch the Kyogre and Groudon during this time period in the race, I assume you could probably Elite Team it after the event is live. You get
Mhm.
Origin Pulse and Precipice Blades for Kyogre and Groudon respectively, which are pretty good. Precipice Blaze is strictly an upgrade from Earthquake, which is pretty bonkers.
Yeah.
So let me just take a look at the comparison here. It is, I think, the best move in the game.
Yeah.
I
Makes
think.
sense. I mean, it's
Uh,
busted in the main series games too.
yeah. Oh wait, it's not even in the. Is it not even in? Oh, it is.
Is-
Okay. Oh yeah. Sorry, I searched Earth instead of Ground. I was like, why is this not coming up on the potential
Oh,
moves?
gotcha.
Yeah. So it is 2.16 damage per energy, 60
Woo!
energy for 130 damage. By comparison, Earthquake, the current best move for, well, just for ground types in general, but also for Groudon for its ground coverage, is 65 energy, 5 energy more for 120 damage, which is 10 damage less. So it costs less energy for more damage. Yo, Groudon about pop off.
Sheesh.
It about be showing up in number one in all the Sims, I think.
Dude,
Um,
if
or
in Master League? Oh, no, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Sorry. Go ahead.
no, Master, yeah. Origin Pulse,
I'll
I guess, is
just.
not as good. It's
Mhm.
the same. It's the same stats: 60 energy for 130 damage, but it's just like kind of overkill. Surf, I think,
Yeah.
is just better for the 40 energy.
Yeah.
It is same DPE. It's actually worse than Technoblast. Technoblast is
Really?
0.1 0.02 DP more efficient. Yeah, Technoblast is 55 energy for 120 damage, whereas Origin Pulse is 60 for 130. So Technoblast is kind of even better in
Gotcha.
general because not only more energy efficient, it's also less energy, which is typically better. Like that's why Leaf Blade is such a good move. It's really low energy for a lot of damage.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just going to point out in the Master League, Precipice Blades does 111% damage to Dialga. So you essentially one shot Dialga from the jump. It's pretty amazing. I think
I mean,
Earthquake comes close as well.
yeah, it does with the mud shot damage adding up. I mean, the thing is, like, you
Yeah,
might not even want a one shot. You could just mud shot down, right?
True.
But it does make things interesting. Like, let's say, like the Groudon matchup versus Kyogre now. Like, if you land a Precipice Blades, that feels bad having to shield a Groudon when you're Kyogre. But
It's
like,
right.
dude, and especially if you're not running Surf, right? Like, if you're running Origin Pulse, man,
Yeah.
you're gonna get
That's
outpaced because that
rough.
Mudshot energy generation is quick.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but Origin Pulse might still be good for like raid purposes. I don't really look at the Sims for that, but you
Mhm.
probably just want Surf for PvP purposes. But Precipice plays for
Agreed.
Groudon. It's pretty nice. I don't have a Hundo Groudon either, actually.
I don't either. I'm gonna be rating it for sure.
Yeah, I have a 98, level 40 right now. So if I get a Hundo, that'd be nice. I do
Mhm.
have a Hundo Kyogre though, so there's that.
Nice.
But so what happens when you put them level them up into the primal forms, right? So when Kyogre, primal Kyogre is in your party, bug, electric, and water type attacks will benefit from attack bonuses and raids. And when it's your when it's I guess it says when primal Kyogre is your buddy, which is
Mhm.
interesting. I guess it's I'm actually very curious about that. Is it when it's your buddy or was it just in primal form? Because you know you can mega evolve something and it doesn't be a buddy, you still get the bonuses, right? But for this at least it says when primal Kyogre is your buddy, catching bug, electric, and water Pokemon will grant you additional XP and candy. Additional XP is interesting too, actually. That's not a that is a
That's
mechanic
not
in
a.
Megas. Is it?
I don't believe it is. I thought it was just the candy.
I thought it was just candy too. Maybe it's XP, but we just don't
Yeah.
care about the candy as much.
Maybe we just don't care about the
Um
XP. We never noticed.
yeah, right? Uh
Yeah, it looks like you
let's
have to have it as your buddy to get these benefits, though. Unlike Mega
yeah.
Evolutions. Hmm.
Um.
Can wait? Can you
Yeah,
Mega
it is. It
Evolve?
it does specify buddy on the main page. Yeah.
Can you Mega Evolve and Primal Evolve at the same time? Can those run
Oh,
concurrently?
that is a great question. I would guess no, but that
Why
is a great
not?
question.
They're two different functions. Let's stack them. So essentially,
Dude,
if
that'd
you're
be wild.
running,
Imagine if you could use it
dude,
Master League, because there's some. Don't they have like a future Master League rotation where you can use megas? If you get Primal and Mega, dude, everyone's gonna have a Primal guy, Kyogre or Ground on the back, right? With a Mega
yeah,
something, with a Mega Gyarados, dude, that's gonna be wild.
dude, just imagine the grind though. Imagine if there's a water type community day and you Mega Evolve, something like Blastoise, and then you Primal Evolve your Kyogre. Are you getting like 5 times candy or something? You know,
I don't. I mean, if
it's
you,
crazy.
yeah, I don't know. If it's if it's double candy, it's probably be 4 times. But math is not our strong suit here. So,
Well,
but yeah, so it
double
doesn't
plus
be
double
nice.
plus whatever the event bonus is, I
Oh, true,
guess.
true, true. Yeah, I guess event bonus too. I mean, I'd rather have. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're ever short on candies for events these days. But level
Yeah.
60 is around the corner. You got the XX
It,
candy, XXL candy.
if you could farm candy in those kinds of masses, it would finally make sense to do conversions, like 100 regular to 1 XL.
Oh, I
Because
still do those. You don't do?
to me, it hasn't made sense to me.
Well,
No.
I do when I'm short on
Mm-mm.
the XLs. I need it. I'm like,
I'm
I got
still.
like 3,500 like Tentacruel candy, and I need to make a my Tentacruel for Ultra League is still like three
Yeah.
power ups short on the day I'm streaming my sets. Like I'm gonna get the half power up if I can, right?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
What are
know.
you gonna do? What are you hoarding the extra candy? You are a hoarder, actually. This is what I realized.
You think so?
You're hoarding your special research. You're hoarding your dust, dude. You said you were gonna spend this like 12 million dust thing like at the beginning of this season. It's almost March, man.
I know, man. I'm behind.
What's your total dust at right now?
Right now, okay.
Yeah,
Let me
because you
tell
said
you.
originally you had 12 million, right? So this is really going to show us how long you haven't spent dust, because you haven't spent dust at all, right? You haven't powered up
No,
anything.
not really. I powered up like a few odds and ends. Like I made a Sableye, purified Sableye up to level 50. That was
Oh,
like
that's pretty expensive.
385K.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
expensive.
I'm at 13,427,000
Okay,
right
drop in
now.
the bucket for you. Dude,
Drop in
I
the
got
bucket.
stuff I want to use, but I'm always low on dust. Yo, I registered a Ultra League Sea King for factions this past week for Ultra League. It'd be
Do you
low
have it?
50.
I mean, you don't have to tell me, right? Because you're supposed to have the Pokemon that you register,
Oh, I
but
do have it. This is one of my first
okay.
hundo catches ever. It was a Sea
Oh,
King back in
nice.
2016. It was already double legacy. It had Poison Jab and Icy Wind. So I only had to spend one Elite TM on it. How wild is that? That's how old it was. That both of those moves
Dude.
weren't legacy at the time when I caught it. It was for
You
some
ever
reason I saved a hundo. Back then I didn't even know what hundos were. I probably just got lucky.
you ever
Like when
think
I
if you
praised
could
it
like
later.
if you could go back and like tell yourself to catch certain things?
Dude.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Dude. I would be dude, I'd be ready. When Lily gets that bullet seed, I'd be ready
Dude,
for that. You know
yes.
how, dude? Honestly, I don't want to do that because I'd be so stressed collecting all these legacy things. I know that are going to be legacy that no one else does. You know how hard it is to
True,
get a
true.
Dragon Breath Gyarados back then? Like I would have. The problem is for me, I was so landlocked in Atlanta. I'd be like going to like the freaking
Oh, it's
rivers every
true.
day trying to get it because you had Dragon Breath was so short, like time sensitive. I don't know why they
True,
made that
true.
legacy so quickly too. It was so weird, but
I don't know.
I don't know. It's
I
weird.
don't know.
I actually, I would love anyone from Niantic if you're listening. Shoot me a DM. I won't leave you on Reddit. I usually leave you on Reddit. Shoot me a DM. I'm curious. I'm curious for the backstory and history of why moves went legacy in general. Like,
I'm
why did
curious too.
Psybeam go legacy on Chansey back in 2016 or 2017, whatever it is?
I forgot about that
Like,
one.
why did they give Stone Edge to Blaziken for like 2 days? Like, I don't understand. Right now, it's legacy you can elite TM it, but I'm actually really curious. Like, why did they get rid of Dragon Breath on Gyarados out of nowhere? Right? They didn't even tell us. They didn't give us heads up back then, right? Because it's not like a glitch like what was it, like Mudshot Graveler or something like that,
I
where
was
like
gonna
it's not
say,
supposed to
yeah.
learn the move, right? Or like but
Or Shadow Claw, Galarian Lanoon.
yeah, well,
That
that
was
was just
also
like
a
a miss.
glitch.
But they actually rolled that back though, right?
Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
glitch.
yeah, that was a glitch. But like, there's some where there's like they just gave it an actual move it could learn and just turn a legacy out of nowhere. I'm very curious, like what was the decision factor, right? Like, oh, we gotta make this legacy all of a sudden. Like what?
It's too good. We got to nerf it. I don't know.
Psybeam Chansey's that good?
It gives you fighting coverage, I guess.
I
I
guess so.
guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So for the Groudon, the primal form of it, uh, when it's in your party, um, ground, grass, and fire type attacks will receive benefits in the raids, and then
Mhm.
as your buddy, it's ground, grass, and fire will grant you additional XP and gaining. That's actually pretty dope because the primal forms. Oh wait, let me look at this actually. The primal form of the primal. Wait, why is my thing going small? Oh, the primal form of. I am tripping right now on my. Sorry, my browser's like
It's
tripping
okay.
out here. So I'm trying to zoom in and see the screen. It keeps zooming out. The primal
Oh,
form of Groudon is grass and ground, or sorry, not grass and ground, fire and ground.
Fire Ground. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that is interesting. I mean, you're taking double super effective from Kyogre now, but that does make things interesting.
Yeah, Ground and Fire.
But
Yep.
Kyogre is still pure water.
Hmm.
How does that change for the Master League meta? I mean, you don't see a ton of grass, but now you're taking neutral from grass.
It probably makes Groudon better against the fairies like Zacian and what do you
Mm,
call it?
dude, that's right. You're right. That's actually huge. That's
Yeah.
massive. And yeah, because you don't really lose so much. Yeah, you're double weight to water, but were you going to be Kyogre anyway? I mean, maybe if you land a Precipice Blades.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a primal form too. We won't be using primal form like consistently in Master League or anything like that anyway. So maybe it's not like that big of a deal. But
Mhm. God, it goes to 5,910. Gosh,
yo,
dude.
Kyogre as well. Kyogre as well.
Shoot.
Yeah, imagine Kyogre got that Dragon Tail like it was supposed to have on release, and they got rid of it.
Dude.
Dude, Dragon Killer, baby.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Maybe I shouldn't say killer. It's a little too extreme, I think. But
Yeah. It's too violent. Come on. They faint. They don't
Dragon,
they don't die.
Dragon
Slayer.
Fainter, Slayer,
Dragon
Slayer. What do you mean?
Fainter.
A killer or Slayer? That's still pretty. Like that still implies mortality. You just went from like
Fine.
Dragon Killer to Dragon Murderer, Dragon Serial
Fine.
Killer. Um. Anyway, so that's gonna be cool. So definitely worth rating in my opinion. Just for the primal, just for the primal energy, right? Because you
Yes.
get so many. Like typically, all right. Let's put it this way: for mega evolutions right now, at
Mhm.
max you could benefit from 2 typings, right? Because nothing is past dual typings. But with this, you're getting triple. That's nuts. It's a lot. So
Dude,
not
Primal Groudon is such a beast. It even beats Yveltal. It has in the Open Master League. It's 27-5.
what does it lose to? Like a Mega Blastoise? Like
It loses to Kyogre, loses to
okay.
Lugia, Gyarados with Dragon Breath, and Dragonite. Those are the only things that beat it.
Is this Mudshot?
Yes.
What if you have Dragon Tail on it? It probably
Ooh,
beats Dragonite,
even
right?
more.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm plugging in Precipice
You might
Blades
lose some
here.
other matchups, but yeah, because the Mudshot's
So
not because the Dragon Tail damage added up even against Lugia is actually pretty impressive over time.
yeah,
And
it still
Yveltal.
has you. It's oh, sorry. I need to change this real quick, and then I got it. Okay, there we go. There we go. I was like, wait, why are the results the same? So with Dragon Tail, you go 24-8, but you do
Mm,
pick up Dragonite.
okay.
You drop the Groudon Mirror, which makes sense.
Yeah.
You actually tie with Gyarados, and you
Okay.
still lose Kyogre or Lugia.
What about Yveltal?
Against Yveltal, you beat it even harder.
Oh yeah, you already
You,
said it. You win. Dude, how are you beating with Mudshot Fire Punch? That's wild to
I,
me.
I don't know.
I don't even know if Fire
And
Punch does more damage, or it's probably Precipice Blaze does more damage. Now that I think about it.
Fire Punch does 34%. You have to land 3 of them. And this is even after you tank a Focus Blast, dude. I'm telling you,
Fire Punch
Primal.
only that does a lot of damage for Fire Punch. Fire Punch doesn't
Yeah.
usually do that much damage at all.
Primal Groudon is going to be a
And Yveltal's
monster.
pretty glassy. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway.
I, I don't know if it can even compete. It's too strong, I think.
Yeah, they would have to use for like special like GPL events or like factions and
Yeah.
stuff. It's gotta be banned in factions. No way. I think it could be allowed in factions. Could be interesting, but it would just like the whole meta was centered around the Kyogre and Groudon.
Yeah.
But
Against I'll say this and then I know we've been spending some time on this so we can move on. But in the Master Mega with Mudshot, it goes 39-10. It smashes Zacian at 866 rating. And then with Dragon Tail, it goes 35-14.
hmm.
So it's still broken as heck in
Yeah.
Master Mega.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I mean, there's a lot of mega water types too, right? So
Yeah,
I could
true,
definitely
true.
neutralize it a little bit.
Yeah.
That being said, we got another one, another raid monster on
Another
the
one.
horizon. I'll just mark this real quick for our YouTube viewers will have the screen. Yo, this is hot off the press.
Yeah.
January 30th, 2023. It was released a few hours ago, which was
Mhm.
today, the day we're recording. Rayquaza emerges ahead of a Hoenn-sized adventure in Primal Rumblings. Also, in the background is Mega Latios and Latios. I kind of
Yeah.
hope that those come back in the raids because oh wait, they are coming back in the raids. Nice. Because I didn't get 100 of those. I don't have 100 of
Same.
either. And
Mm.
I didn't really. Oh, okay. Let's put it this way. When it came out, when did that come out? It must have been. Well, the Backcast podcast was around by then. I think me and Zionic were not recording frequently, so I didn't read the announcement. So I didn't figure out what the Mega Evolutions did, like the bonuses. Everyone was hype about the Mega Evolutions, the bonus, and everything.
Yeah.
And I remember everyone's rating these, and I didn't understand why.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why. And so I was just sending, like, I was just like doing these raids, and everyone's like, "Oh, like send Latios," and I can't, I don't even remember how many Latios I actually sent people because they look the same. I'll send it to them and they'll get it. And I think my friends just feel bad, so they're just like too polite to decline, so they join.
Yeah,
But
they did
later
it
they're like,
anyway.
"Caleb, that was a funny looking Latios." I was like, "What you mean?" And be like, "It was a Latios." I was like, "Oh, I didn't even realize."
Latias.
Yeah, because they almost look the same from the gym because they're the same color when they're like in the mega form. It's
Yep.
actually that
Purple.
reminds me of a funny story of this one time where um people were asking me to send it was either Virizion. I think they wanted me to send Virizion. This is before they had double kick, right, and Sacred Sword.
Mhm. Mhm.
So or maybe they had Sacred Sword but not double kick. So people just wanted like the shiny Virizion, I think. And so because everyone already had Cobalion by then, I think, wherever.
Mhm.
And I was like, yeah, sending right now. And we do it turns out to be a Cobalion raid. I literally like mistook a Cobalion raid for Virizion raid, which is like not
Oh
like night and
no.
day, in my opinion. I mean, at least it wasn't a Terrakion, right? Terrakion's even more different
True.
though too. I mean,
True.
these two like they both look like kind of horses, but I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, I'm sending right now. And they're all like, that's a pretty funny looking Virizion there. And I was like, oh no, I think it was the other way around. But either way, I was like, what you mean? I was like, I don't understand. I was literally looking. I was like, did I misspell it? Right? Did I type in Verizon or something? Right? Whatever. And then they're like,
Verizon.
no, you said it was a freaking Cobalia. And I was like, oh, my bad. I was like, yeah, I
Oh
guess that's.
no.
They can thank me now, though,
Yeah.
because Cobalia's pretty good, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Kavali
foresight.
is really
That
good.
foresight. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so we're getting into this event, Primal Rumblings event, and it's going to be February 22nd to the 24th. That's a
Yeah.
short 2-day event, Wednesday to
It's
Friday.
so-
The heck?
yeah. Weird.
Well, that is weird. Wait.
Strange.
Yeah, is that right before the weekend, the whole weekend? I think that's what it is. So it's
Oh,
before
before
the
the global
global
event?
event. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah. So it'll be right
Yeah.
after, I
Right.
guess. Yeah, it'll be after it'll be after the Vegas event, but right before the global event. So that's same. It's a
Yeah.
busy week, I guess. I did see some people on Twitter say like, "Hey, you should take some leave if you're a master raider, or like a master league player, or like a hardcore raider because of all the raids coming up and
Yeah. They're
like
going to be important.
bunch of random stuff in the wild, Trico, Torchic, Mudkip, whatever. Like, there's nothing too special there. Well, I guess like for PvP, if you need PvP IVs and stuff, right? I don't actually have great PvP IVs for Blaziken because it's always weather boosted for me.
Yeah. If you want XLs too, like we haven't
Yeah,
had
XLs. Yeah,
Torchic in the wild for some time, you can get, level 50 Blaziken for the
dude, is
Mega
it hard
Evolution.
to have like level 50 like enough XL candies? Dude, my teammate Coachinaman was asking me to send her Blaziken raids, like regular Blazikens, not Mega Blazikens. Like, do people not
Kachina Mom
have?
has she's also been rating a lot of funny stuff, right? I saw her rating
I
lots of
think
like
she
tier
actually needs
ones.
the XL. I'm already at 300 something. I don't know. Maybe I'm not trying to flex on her or anything, but I'm just like I thought she would have the XLs if I
Yeah,
did. But
right. Master League
maybe she should make
specialist.
it No, there's no reason to make multiple because you can only Mega Evolve one. I don't know.
So
Maybe
I'm
she was
looking
short.
here. I'm looking here at the Mega Latios and Mega Latias, and I was trying to find a difference. Right? I thought it was how their wings return. I thought it was like their
Dude, it's you.
claws.
You don't blame me, right? You just gotta
So,
read.
so the only
You know,
difference
I
I
don't
can
read.
see, and this is even inconsistent because some of the artwork is different, but the only difference I can see is that Latios has red eyes and Latias has yellow eyes. That's the only difference I can pick up on.
Dude, it's so hard to see the difference too. Like on all
It's
these
so hard,
graphics, you could barely see it.
and they look the same in some of the artwork. So I don't know
Yeah.
if that even holds up.
I mean, I'll take a hundo of either, so I'll be rating both because I
They're
I
both
just
Psychic Dragon.
exactly I just need it for the I haven't mega evolved either because I'm just looking for the hundo, right?
Yeah,
But I guess I could just evolve my 90. I literally have 98s at both, but it's just like
yeah. The
it just
Hundo though,
feels
the
the
Hundo
hundo,
CP, bro.
especially with the mega evolutions, the hundo. Anyway,
Yeah.
the big news: Rayquaza's back and encounter during
Yes.
the raids from the Wednesday.
The 22nd.
Oh wait, okay. Never mind. So this event is actually it's a 2-day event, the Primal Rumblings, but Rayquaza is going to be in raids for like a while, for at least a week.
For like
I'll just
for
read
at
that.
least a
Yeah, so
week.
it's February 22nd to March 1st. So I think it's just I think it's actually just the it might just be the Latios and Latias that's only around for
Mhm.
2 days. So maybe you should prioritize actually rating those instead.
Yes.
Um, but yeah. So anyway, yeah. So that makes me feel a little better about that. But Rayquaza will be getting the charged attack breaking swipe, which is a dragon move. So you get stabbed,
Yeah.
same type attack bonus, 50 for training battles, 50 damage, and the move decreases your opponent's attack stat when used. So it's like Icy
Mhm.
Wind. We don't know how much energy it's going to cause, but we
That's
do have some
important.
speculation from our friend PV Poke, Kakuda Matata, aka
Uh-huh.
Napoleon Dynamite, aka Matthew. He's got a lot of names, but
AKA the
he's a
man, the
big
myth, the
deal.
legend.
He's a big deal, so he deserves all the names and titles. But he
He
said
does.
in a tweet, you know what? I don't have to add this. I'll just read it off. The mercy glass has been broken. Rayquaza is returning with a new move, Breaking Swipe. This move should make Rayquaza viable in Master League. Just how good remains to be seen. So he's showing a simulation here, and I assume it's simmed at either probably like 45 energy.
Mhm.
Um, or no, I think he simmed at 40 energy. I'm not sure. I didn't. Let me actually just look. I didn't see. It's speculative.
Hmm.
Let me see if he has it added into the charge moves or not. Breaking swipe. Oh yeah, so he's speculating that's 40 energy for 50 damage. So 1.25 DPE with a 100% chance to lower the opponent's attack. So 40 for 50 damage. Let's look at Icy Wind in comparison.
Okay.
Icy Wind is 45 for 60 damage. So a little bit better DPE, but still not. I mean, Icy Wind is a really good move.
Mhm.
Glaciite, another example, 40 energy for 60 damage. 1.5 DPE. So if
Which
anything,
is pretty
Breaking
good.
Swipe is actually much worse than both of these.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah. True.
I guess you want the lower energy move, so you probably prefer this over Icy Wind because it's just more expensive, right? Icy Wind's only 5 more energy, and Glaciite, yeah, I mean it's not as good as Glaciite, right, by any means. So
Hmm.
40 energy, I think is pretty. I think that's a pretty reasonable speculation. So
Yeah, I think
assuming
so
that's
too.
the speculation there, it wins 18 against 18 of the top meta Pokemon and loses to 15. So taking a look at what it's actually winning here, I'm just losing the fairies, right? Like there's
Of
no doubt
course.
about
Yeah.
it. It is
You got
running
nothing.
Dragon Tail, Hurricane, which is a legacy move, so you had to lead
Yep.
TM that, and the Breaking Swipe,
Mhm.
which is going to be a legacy move if you don't get in raids.
Yep.
You lose to Lugia, which I can tell me Lugia is just bulky, Dialga, Melmetal, stuff like that. These aren't surprises. Steel types like Metagross, Mamoswine, you're going to lose to. Excadrill, you lose to. Not by much, but you do lose to it. I mean, your flying type is not going to be great into that. Garchomp, you lose to. Xerneas, Reshiram, Zekrom, Dragonite, you barely lose to. What do you beat, though? Palkia,
Okay.
Gyarados. I mean, Gyarados not that common. Ho-Oh, that makes sense. Uh, Giratina Origin.
Oh,
Giratina
that's
to
a big one.
alter as well. Yeah, because you're doing this
Mhm.
super fight drag damage. You're just doing neutral ghost damage, right? Um, uh, Landorus, Darien form. That's a big one because that thing is strong. You beat Quick Attack Zacian.
Mhm.
Oh wait, it's because it's running close combat watchers. That makes sense. Yeah, you
Oh
resisted
yeah,
all
yeah,
that
yeah.
moves. Yeah,
It can't.
yeah,
Yeah,
you would have won that probably
because
anyway before. Yeah,
you're
yeah, because
dragon.
you're
You're
throwing just
dragon
hurricanes
resist
there. Yeah,
electric.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You beat Mewtwo.
That's
That's pretty big. Shadow and non-shadow, I think. Oh no, this is just different Mewtwo movesets. You beat all the Mewtwo movesets, I guess, but maybe not Ice Beam. I don't know, but this one's not showing Ice Beam. You beat Kyogre. You beat Groudon. Well, these aren't without Precipice Blades and Orchard Pulse. Kyogre's probably gonna be the same. Groudon, you probably just outpace, yeah, because you're just resisting mud shots. Dragon Tail Groudon
Yeah.
might be a different story. You beat Snorlax, Yveltal, the other Landorus, Swampert, Garchomp with Mud Shot. I mean that makes sense. You just shield everything. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, I don't know. There's some play that would be interesting. You know, Rayquaza is one of the few 100% legendaries my friend Palmer's up that has too. So he has a Hundo Ho-Oh and he's never powered it up.
Dude, come on. Ho-Oh's a
He's
beast.
stuck on this like weird quest to be like the like this like only like level 40 player that's like a decent battler or whatever, a top tier battler.
Really? That's his mission right now?
Yeah, he's stuck on level 40 because that's why he hasn't powered him up. Because you have to power up a legendary like whatever 10 times, 3 times, whatever it is, whatever the quest is. So he's not gonna power up any legendaries. Which is actually weird now I think
Okay.
about because he might have to power one up for like a Great League one day. Like, you know, it'd be funny if he breaks his streak by
Oh.
powering up like a Victini or something.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the mythicals? Yeah,
Yeah,
for
well,
sure.
I don't know if mythicals count or not for that quest. It's been so long since I've done that. I keep telling him, I was like, dude, when they release level 60 one day and everyone's running a freaking level 60 purified Wobbuffet and destroying people, right? Like
Yeah.
you're gonna be regretting it, right? Like you're gonna have big regrets here. Or they're running like a higher stat product Lickitung because now you can run like a
Yeah.
zero attack Lickitung, right? At
Mhm,
level
mhm.
60, you're gonna be
Oh my
really regretting
god.
it, right? Or everyone's running that level 60 Chin Chow, right? Like you're gonna be that ABB line with Lantern Chin Chow. You're gonna be really regretting not having that. You're gonna have to grind through all
Dude.
these other quests and stuff for level 50 first.
How many years did it take them to introduce level 50? Was it
5 years,
4
I
years?
think.
5?
I think so,
All
yeah.
right.
It was what,
All right.
2020? End of 2020?
Dude, so they're gonna get level 60 in 2 years? 2 years
It
from
was the end of
now?
2020. So
No.
it was less than 5 years.
No, dude.
Wait,
That's too
what?
soon.
Is that right? Well, less so
Yeah,
assume
came out in
2021.
16. Yeah.
So roughly around 5 years. So 2020, it's probably about 3 years. about 3 years.
Level 60 in a year
Prep
or two from
yourselves.
now?
Prep
No, thank
yourselves.
you.
Get those. That's I'm
Mhm,
prepping early. I'm trading XL candies for things I have
mhm.
XLs for already, like Skarmory, Ferrothorn or Ferroseed. Um, what else? I don't know.
Come on.
But because those are Pokemon, like you're using 100% Skarmory right now in Ultra League. If you have level 60 around, you won't be running the Hundo no more, right? You won't be running the 7 attack Ferrothorn minimum or something like that, whatever it is for
Yeah,
Ultra League 2,
yeah,
right? You're gonna be
true.
running the 0 15 15 Ferrothorn, right?
Yep.
Look, you gotta think ahead. Cause then imagine that converting 100 XL candies to XXLs. You know what's happening. You know there's gonna be some ridiculous conversion rate, right? There's no way there's not.
Dude.
You're shaking your head
Yeah.
right now. You
It's
too
just
worried about
like,
converting regular candies. Imagine converting XL candies.
dude, it's just like if they do that, the barrier to entry just gets higher and higher for new players. It just doesn't.
Yes and no, I guess. Because think about it, Great League Pokemon. What Great League Pokemon will actually need to be level 60 to be relevant? Wobbuffet, like that's not even that good of a Pokemon.
All right, get ready for a whole season of Great League GBL. Let's go.
I
Let's go.
mean, Ultra League will be. I mean, even think a lot of Ultra League Pokemon is already maximized, right? Like Cobalion and Virizion, you don't even need that kind of
Mm,
stuff. Oh, Galarian Stunfisk, that's a big one. So you're running
dude.
100 right now. You're gonna be running like a 8 15 15. A bulkier Galarian Stunfisk.
No, no
Hey,
shot.
don't worry about it. Chestnut walls it off completely. Don't worry about it.
Dude.
Chestnut, man. Chestnut. Anyway,
Jesus.
so we got sidetracked a little bit, but Rayquaza is coming back with Latios and Latios. So that'll be interesting for the Master League players. I would like to. I mean, they're just good raid bosses. You also get 2 times XP for evolving Pokemon. And
Mhm.
here is the part that cracks me up. You got Trico, Torchic, Mudkip spawning in the wild. If you're lucky, you get their evolutions: Combustican, Marshtomp, and what's that thing called? What's Trico's
Which one?
evolution?
Oh, jeez, I just had it. I just had
I
it
know
and I forgot
Sceptile's the
it.
third stage. I want to look it
Uh,
up. I shouldn't. Grovyle.
Grovile. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you.
We gotta be ready, man. In case we commentate one day and Grovyle shows up, what do we say? Dude, when Charger Bug or like Vikavolt came out and stuff too, I remember
Yeah,
googling
yeah,
like how to like pronounce their names and stuff because I was scared someone's gonna bring it for a tournament during when we're casting. I was like, I don't even know what this thing is. Right? That's
yeah,
gonna just
right.
look really unprofessional.
Oh man,
Actually, I did blank out once when we're commentating. I think for this for NAIC, but they had a Mantine.
oh
No, they had a
yeah,
Mantike plushie.
man, Dyke,
Yeah, and I couldn't remember Mantike's name, so I said, "Oh yeah, wow, a nice Mantine pre-evolution plushie there." That's what I said on the stream.
dude. So much of casting is just like not putting yourself in bad positions. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, you're always in a bad position eventually, but like you just
Yeah,
have to you
eventually.
have to wiggle your way out
You
of
gotta
it,
you
you
gotta
know.
wiggle out, play your way out, play your way out
Yeah,
of it. You know,
yeah. My philosophy is I'm not going to be in a bad position. I'm just going to put Butters in the bad position, you know.
dude. You've done it before. You're like, wait, Butters, how do you pronounce this Pokemon's name again?
No, I
And
never,
just
I
make
never,
him
did that.
say
I
it.
never did that to him. But I will call. I will be like, "Oh, you said that's good, but what about this?" Right? I'm like, "I thought you said it's gonna be good, Butters," and he's like, "Well, like
Dude,
you
there was
got me there,
literally
Caleb. You got me there."
here's the thing. There was literally a bus on stage in London at Worlds,
Uh
and you were like figuratively throwing Butters under that bus
huh.
repeatedly.
It was one of those double decker buses too.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
It's
I was on the top deck just exploring London while he was underneath it. But anyway, so if you're lucky, you get Grovyle, Combustion, and Marshtomp. Now here's where it
yep.
gets funny. Because Mega Latios, and Rayquaza aren't the best things to raid, right? So you got in 1-star raids Trico, Torchic, Mudkips, which are spawning in the wild, and in the 3-star raids you got Grovyle, Combustion, and Marshtomp. Who's going to be raiding these when they're spawning in the wild already?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think
I'll send some Combustion raids to Cochino Mom. She might need the
a lot of
Blaziken
it's just
XLs.
geared towards like giving somebody something to raid. Like for example, if you live in like a place with only one gym nearby and you're like, oh, I wanted to do a raid today and I can beat this Mudkip by myself or I can beat this Combustion by myself. Maybe that's what it's for. But like for the more serious players like you, me, and people that listen to
Yeah.
this, I don't know how useful it is.
No, I don't even mind like easier raids. I just wish it was something different than what's spawning in the wild. Like,
True,
like who's gonna
true,
need those Pokemon? Like
dude.
just do like a Rockruff or something, right? Like do like
I'm
a
I'm glad you
Vullaby.
I'm glad you mentioned that because the freaking the spotlight hour for tomorrow, actually we're recording this on Monday, spotlight hour on Tuesday, is Blitzel. But I've seen tons of Blitzel in the wild during this electric event,
Okay,
right?
you say this, Speediest Chief, right? But here's what I'm gonna make you feel uncomfortable. I'm gonna call you out here a little bit.
All right, call me out.
How much Wooloo and Squovit did you have
Nah,
until
dude.
the Squovit recently, a recent event? Not a lot, right? How much Wooloo did you have? Now let me put it this way. When those two were in the wild, I remember this very distinctly. When they were spawning for this event, I forgot what it was, like a 2 week event or something, where
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Squovit and Wooloo were spawning everywhere. They had back to back spotlight hours of Squovit spotlight hour and Wooloo
Mm.
spotlight hour. And people might have been like, you'd be like, what's the point of this Squovit spot? What's the point of this Wooloo spotlight? They're spawning everywhere. It's not like, oh, we're really short on Wooloo. A few years later,
Yeah.
oh shoot, man, I haven't seen a Wooloo in like years. Where are those sheep at? Right? I need some.
Well, I'm actually grinding XLs because I want to make a XL Shadow Blitzel when the Team Rocket takeover starts. So
I know what you're gonna say. You just complained about it. Now you actually are looking forward to the spotlight hour.
I don't know. It's just
But so for you, you need the spotlight hour. This is the perfect spotlight for you, is what you're telling me. Am I wrong?
see, this is what happens, right? I try to get on your side about having unique spawns or unique raids, and you're like, wait, you got to cover your own bases first, man. You got to catch all these things anyway. So you know, I won't try to get on your side anymore. I think I think
Yeah.
I think the marsh stomps are fine in the raids. Caleb, deal with it. You deal with it.
Yeah. It doesn't work when people try to butter me up. It tends to backfire somehow. But
I guess
here's
so.
case in point. Case in point. Anyway, so we got some fun events coming up. But speaking of things coming up, what's the legend status at Speedy Chief 2? What's going on here? Let's
Dude, I played I streamed 2 days ago. I played all my sets then, and then I played one set yesterday. I'm at 2876.
dude, let me tell you, Electric Cup is trash. Did you play Electric Cup?
Yeah, I haven't played it at all. I wanna get Legend before Great League rotates out, so I got until Wednesday,
Yeah. Until Thursday technically.
Thursday.
Like before whenever they rotate. Like you can technically play your sets. Because it's about to be Ultra League and Ultra League Premier. Not
All
Classic.
Ultra.
Ultra League
And
Premier.
and Great League, the Open Great League is leaving until the end of the season. Just so everybody remembers, it's not coming back.
It's not coming back. By the time you hear this, you'd be like, oh shoot, if you find out now, got
Yeah,
like 2 days worth of sets at most.
exactly.
Um yeah, time to get it through with the Great League. Dude, Electric Cup is not fun. Dude, I mean some people say this like, okay, I don't get these people that like Electric Cup but don't like Fighting Cup. Like what? Like Electric Cup in my opinion is way more RPS because you got certain matchups where you're like, dude, if you lock in like a Lowland Rock Pokemon like Grappler Golem into that hidden power Luxray, dude, those things look like you're getting 3 shot by hidden powers. It's wild. Like maybe 4
Let
hidden powers. I never
me
seen hidden power look so good. And
let me ask you
you
a
can't
question.
tell me that's less like that's a better meta than Fighting Cup, right? Like
Yeah,
a throw is not taking out a Toxicroak that's double weak to Psychic as fast as these hidden powers are taking out a freaking Alolan Golem, Alolan Rock. And of course, if you're running that, you're already playing more into RPS because that's like good into the Galvantula, right? And then you're super weak
true,
into
true.
Lantern. Like it's just like what?
Let,
Like
let me
I don't
ask you
know.
this. So you played a lot more Electric Cup than I have. How do you feel
I
about
only played a few sets. I
that's
started
more
playing
than
on my
me?
Patreon stream. Yeah, I guess so. It's still a lot more. Last week on my Patreon stream, I started off with Electric Cup. I like gave up like after like 2 or 3 sets. I was just like, I'm gonna go back to Great League. I tried to play some Shadow
Me,
Charizard and that was hard as hell. That was not
oh,
fun.
dude.
Yeah, it's not
I, I
easy.
don't I don't know how Axon got to number one with Zard because
Well, he
I
used a
tried the same thing.
non-Shadow Charizard, but Human Catcher Bug did make it into like the top 20, I think, with the Shadow Charizard. But I
Yeah,
mean, that guy
true.
knows how to use Shadow Charizard. I mean, maybe I'm just a scrub.
Yeah, they're both just incredible. I was going to ask you for Electric Cup. Did you like the fact that they banned the Mud Slappers? Because they made an adjustment right before Electric Cup was released. Was
It's
that good or bad?
I mean, honestly, if you have the Mud Slappers, it'd be even worse, I think. I mean, Mud Slap is a
Yeah,
much better move than Hidden Power Ground,
true.
but Hidden Power Ground already feels broken. The problem with Hidden Power Ground on Luxray is not everyone could run it. Dude, I evolved a
Yeah.
bunch of Luxray. I burned a rank 23 Shinx for Luxray, Shadow Luxray to evolve it with and so now it doesn't have Psychic Fangs. I had to Elite TM it
At least
Psychic
damn it.
Fangs later if I want to ever run a Shadow Luxray. But I did it on the off chance I might get ground hidden power. I was like, my patrons was like, you should just try it. I was like, screw it. I'll just try it for the patrons, right? And it got like fighting hidden power. I was like, no, it's not
Yeah.
worth
Well,
it.
it's a 1 out of 18 chance, right?
Dude.
All the different typings.
I had a 0% chance. I mean, I evolved all my other Shinx that are decent rank for Luxray. Nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to sit here and evolve all my Shinx because, like, one, I still might not get it, and two, like, am I really going to invest in? Am I really going to invest Elite TM into those like 15-2-1 shiny Shinx, right? Shiny Luxray they have just for this cup? Yeah, it's not worth
Right.
it. So I just
It's
dipped
tough.
out there,
Yeah.
But
I
okay,
get it.
so what's your current elo at? For those that are curious.
2876. I'm like 124.
So you want to hit it
or
in 2
something.
days? Is what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Easy. Easy claps.
What team are you running?
So right now, I actually ran a team to target the meta because I'm seeing, dude, I got so freaking tilted because I ran into a Metacham Sableye Altaria team. I was like, you know what? I
So
was
you're
like, you
running
know
triple
what?
charm is what you're saying. You running double
No,
charm?
no. Now I'm running Medi,
Okay.
A9 with Charm and Noctowl. And I've got nothing but like 4 1s with
Oh.
it. So 4 1s and 5 0s. So I'm gonna try to
What do you
finish the
see?
push
What
with
do you
that.
do when you see a Trevenant? You just safe swap the A9.
Yeah. Go to A9, try to take a shield.
There's not
I'm
really a lot
also
of
running
poisons, right? So
no, there's
yeah.
like no poison. I'm also besides Toxapex. Toxapex sucks, but you stay in, and the
You win zero shields.
Typically Caleb Payne, there is double dark in the back, and guess what, my friend?
Oh, true. You can thank me for that
A9
one.
Noctowl
You
destroys
can thank
it.
me for that one. I've only seen
A9
that team run
Noctowl.
once. Yeah, into me.
Yeah, I encountered two of
The
them.
Sableye and Obstacle in the back.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
encountered it twice. But yeah, it's pretty good. I'm running Pup Psychic, so like,
You know that is a slight tangent, but that does remind me. Because you used to do like YouTube videos too with your teams, right?
yeah,
And then same here, obviously. I always wonder for those that use our teams, right? They
mhm,
probably watch a YouTube video. Maybe they didn't watch YouTube, saw someone else using it, they just copied it. But like for those that actually watch
yeah,
YouTube, like, oh, I watched Speedy Chief or I watched Caleb's Payne's video where they featured their team.
yeah.
What's going on in your mind when you're facing the person when you like that created a team and you're using their team, right? Like what do people think?
I wonder.
Especially when it's well, when it's a mirror, that's even funnier, right? But when it's
Yeah,
not a
yeah,
mirror, too, right? Because sometimes
yeah.
I'll make teams that just hard count my previous team,
Uh-huh,
honestly, more
uh-huh.
so accidentally than anything else. And I'm just like, I'm always thinking like, man, this viewer of mine that watched the video be like, oh, Caleb Payne talked about how great the team is, and he just hard countered me with something else. Like this game guy bamboozled me, right? I should just ran
Yeah,
my old
yeah.
team. I would have beat him.
Dude, our friend Indigo actually has made that point. He's like Caleb
Yeah,
Ping, like he crafts the meta and then he like secretly creates an anti-meta team and just destroys everyone that followed his first team.
that's true. That's true. I love when I
Indigo's
run
got
into
you
my
figured
teams
out.
too because I can see how they run it. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I was like, I told you to do this against this lead, but
And you
I know
didn't
what to
listen.
do. I know what you're doing here, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes I
Yeah.
lose too. Yo, the worst is actually when I face my own team in a mirror match and I still lose. That's I'm just
Ooh.
like, oh, this feels
Yeah.
bad.
Like, man,
That feels bad.
outskilled there.
Out CMP. I'll CMP.
They won't see it.
I think about CMP. That did happen to me actually. It was my Noctowl Sableye Umbreon team,
Yeah.
and it was one of my patrons' wife, and she actually hit legend with it too.
Oh, nice.
But she was running my mirror team, and it came down to an Umbreon mirror matchup, and we both went for the foul play, and she won CMP. That's how close it was. We were both. It was about a timeout too.
Dude,
Yeah.
sometimes.
I was like, well, thank you for the clip. I'm going to include this as a mirror matchup in my YouTube video. So
There you go.
yeah, humbling. Okay, so you're knocking on Legends door, as they would say.
As they say. Yeah.
Wait, so how
I
high
think
how high did you get with this team? Like, what was the highest you
um
came?
oh, I just started playing. I played it for 2 sets and I
Okay,
got a couple of positive sets. I played a total of 630 battles this season.
mm.
So
Your team does good into my new team that I've been running. I'm about to drop it
nice.
later today, but people will already know by the time this comes out. It's a Bastiodon with a Sableye and a Shadow Gliscor in the back.
Ooh, that sounds fun, actually.
Yeah, but wait, you
Are
have
you
a
swapping
Noctowl?
a
So
Noctowl and A9?
it's,
So
it's not a great matchup for me because like what am I gonna? I need to like bait perfectly against your A9 to even have a chance to land an Earthquake, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I find that a lot of people don't shield the Earthquakes from Gliscor, so I just go straight Earthquake a lot of times. Shields up too,
Mhm.
but
Well, they're hopeful that you bait, right? And then you let them down. So, you know, please bait. Oh, earthquake. Here we
my
go.
Elo's actually not that far away from yours. I'm like in the like a little under 3100s, I think, or
Oh
3100s.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I definitely was gatekeeping some people last night. So
Nice.
when you're
You and
battling,
Butters can agree on that. You guys love to gatekeep.
this Butters gatekeep? Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
is gatekeeping
hell yeah, he
Morika. Yeah,
does.
who else did he gatekeep?
Just anyone. If he goes on
Oh,
stream, he's like right above legend. He's like, no mercy. You got to earn legend.
that's
You know,
true. Yeah, me and Butters
he
same
is like
mind.
that.
We both understand what meta stands for, and we both play to win. I never like if I ever like lose a match, it's not because I'm throwing on purpose. I'm just playing poorly.
Sure,
It's
sure.
I don't throw matches, right? I might just not be paying
Yeah,
attention. I might lose counts, whatever,
yeah.
misplays, but I will not. I don't care if it's my friend that's at 29.99
There
that match. I'm going to try to
you
win
go.
that match. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I expect the same from me, right? I know some of my friends have
yeah,
top left from me, but typically I don't battle by sets on stream.
yeah.
As my patron stream, so people aren't like even sniping and be like, "Oh, let me top left for you," right? So it really
True,
happens.
true, true. Yeah.
All right, shall we get into the tea?
Sure. Let's do it.
This tea's hot. This
It
tea's hot.
is freshly brewed.
Um, so for those that were on Twitter, this past weekend, I saw this. I think it was like Saturday night for me.
Yeah.
I think this post was up for a little bit. Uh,
Yeah, like a full 24 hours, I think.
yeah, yeah. And so it was a tweet actually from a pretty prominent content creator, known by the name of Brandon Ton, 91, um, who I would say I'm friends with. I mean, we're not like close friends, but like we've talked over the years, and he's like helps like provide me with advice and stuff on content creation stuff. I met him in Chicago.
Mhm.
Um, who I find to be a nice person. I am giving this context because I think context is important. Backstory, right? So any
Agreed.
bias I may have, I'm just going to throw it out there, right? That's my relationship with Brandon. We don't talk very often or anything like that. I don't do raids with him. I'm not even on his friends list. I was briefly, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he posts a screenshot and he said, "Hey everyone, like I think he's making he's making a YouTube video on like stuff like usernames that no longer are available or something like that." He's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
post your screenshot." I don't have the exact tweet because it's no longer up. But
I
post.
got you.
Oh, you have it? Okay. How about
Yeah.
you read it then? Yeah, just so I don't misquote here.
Sure. Hi everyone. Please show me screenshots/recordings of explicit player in-game names or Pokemon names in your storage. Hashtag Pokemon Go. This is a Pidgey I got from a friend 4 years ago, but he was requested by Niantic to change his in-game name a few months later after this trade. And then some like laughing faces.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag Legacy IGN.
And the well, you don't say it, but like, what was the
Yeah,
username
I'm not
that
gonna
alluded
say
to?
it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it, but it involves Diglett, but it is some of the letters are shifted around here to sound
Yeah.
very much like a derogatory term for
Yeah.
African American people.
There's a racial slur in there for sure.
Yes.
Or you can read into it as a racial slur based on how the letters
Yeah.
are rearranged. Anyway, so a lot of people, I would say, unfortunately, but a lot of people responded with just like pictures of their own Pokemon with like weird, like
Hmm.
like profanity and stuff in it, right? Or usernames, or
Hmm.
usernames they see in other people. But a lot of people said, "Hey, that's not really cool, Brandon," or they phrase it either more harshly or less harshly depending on the person. But
Hmm.
like, this is I don't know, this is kind of a racist terminology, like
Yeah.
like it's not Brandon didn't this is not Brandon's old username, but at the same time he is highlighting it, right? You see it plain in sights on the Twitter post,
Hmm.
and the laughing emoji is also, it kind of
Yeah.
almost like making light of the situation,
Hmm.
especially in the midst of what's going on currently in, I guess, in the United States. There's been a lot of police brutality, especially towards the black community. We're not getting into like politics or anything, but there was a recent black man that was killed through police brutality. Uh, it was Tyree Nichols from
Yeah.
Memphis, and the cops were also black, but regardless, there's been a lot of police brutality in those communities, and all five cops were charged with murder, kidnapping, and like
Hmm.
misconduct and stuff like that too. That being said, so there's a lot of unease, I guess, in the
Yeah, a lot of
country for
tension.
for a lot
Yeah.
of people. And here's the thing. In my opinion, like that probably shouldn't be a joke or anything to make light of in general, regardless of the political or socio climates. But I think, especially the current timing of things, it's especially bad. I don't know if I don't think the community is going to react any better if it was posted like 2 months prior, right? Because
True.
well, here's the thing: there's like these kind of things are happening consistently too, right?
Yeah, it's a
Um,
recurring thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not even like, oh, just because this happened this week. So there's that. A lot of people took issue to it. It was still up for about like 20 something hours until it was finally deleted, and then Brandon Ton wrote an apology relate to this. Some people like the apology, some people don't, because they didn't think it was like as heartfelt. The apology said, I can read this after this up. Hey guys, I took
Sure.
another look at your comments and I now understand the seriousness of the situation, and hence I've deleted the previous tweet and the video I have prepared. I did not intend to offend anyone by raising the subject, but now I understand why it would be seen as promoting racism and hate. Thank you all for enlightening me on this matter and reminding me to be accountable given my platform as a content creator. I will be more mindful of such issues moving forward. And once again, I apologize to all of you who were affected by this. Um, yeah, I mean, it is up to people on how they want to take it. I know some people are like, "Oh, I'm unfollowing him, I'm unsubscribing," stuff like that
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah.
And I think like that's within everyone's autonomy to make that decision for themselves on how that impacts them. Like, you don't have to be black for this to impact you, right? And
Hmm.
I mean, theoretically, you could also be black and not have it impact you too, right? It's really,
Sure.
it impacts people in different ways. I think it's a tricky situation too. Not tricky in the sense that like is it tricky that like he should or shouldn't have posted. I think that should have been just like a flat out
Yeah.
no. Um, I think what I think about in these moments is, well, first off, Brandon's from Singapore, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what the black population is in Singapore, but I'm pretty sure it's much less than North America
Yeah.
and US. I think it's less of a melting pot of different ethnic backgrounds and racial backgrounds. Um, so there might be a lack of exposure of what these, like the impact of these words. Not to say that he shouldn't know, but at the same time, like I'll put it this way, from a personal perspective, like growing up as a kid, I definitely used like the R word before, right? Like in
Hmm.
a like a just casual way, or I said like gay to mean like stupid or
Hmm.
something, like something like not like what it should be meaning, right? In ways that I
Yeah.
am not proud of and I shouldn't have done. But as a kid, when I was immature and didn't understand these things, and no one called me out on it before,
Yeah.
or like people weren't even call, like there's just like terminology that kids were tossed around a lot, and that doesn't make it right. It just we're just uninformed and uneducated on that, right? And
Yeah.
I doubt Brandon's going to use this reference in the future, right? Is my guess. And hopefully this is a learning moment for him too, and for maybe others. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people on the comments that are still like, dude, like just like people just being sensitive, blah blah blah. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's
Sure.
a lot of
Always.
historical context related to this word that is a little deeper, and I know like especially how politics is these days and Twitter in general is very polarizing. So people are just shouting back and forth. Like I don't like a lot of these
Yeah.
Twitter conversations I'm reading. I'm just like, unfortunately, it seems like no one's really learning anything. I mean, I'm not saying Brandon has learned anything, but just like within like some of these comments that people don't take it seriously. Um,
Sure.
so that's at least. So anyway, I don't condone that kind of tweet and stuff, and I wrote something under it as well. I don't remember exactly what it was, but just like, hey, like this is not the best take, right? Or this is like your impact here is maybe not as great as you think it is, right? Like it's more
Yeah.
negative than you would probably like it to be,
Yeah.
but at the same time too, it's just like it's tough when this is probably his first. Like I'll put it this way: I've heard people that are not black use the N word in the U.S. Right? Oh, it still happens, but like growing up too, right? Like casually, like as a term of like endearment or whatever reason. Like I haven't
Hmm.
myself, but I've heard like teenagers that were like Asian use it. Right? I'm just like, whoa. I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
but like there's it's like weird too because I know some people from like different like Latinx and like Hispanic communities will use it sometimes too, right? And it's just like it's not really my place to say if they can or can't and stuff like that, but at the
Yeah.
same time it makes me feel a little weird. But anyway, it's just it's a muddled issue, and for those that want to cancel Brandon for it, that's I think it's within their rights. Um,
Hmm.
but you could also cancel me too for stuff I said as a kid.
Hey,
Yeah.
I always say, man, like if kids today sat in a Call of Duty voice lobby on Xbox Live or something when we were growing up, they would not believe the
Yeah.
things that were said.
I mean, sometimes there's still things being said that are uncomfortable, but
Dude,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, rape
Yeah,
jokes too, like that stuff, like that
yeah.
was like that's like no, you
That's
don't.
yeah.
It's not
No.
great, but people still do that in like certain
It's true, but
areas,
I
right?
think as a whole we've come like a long way,
Yeah.
especially over the past decade. We definitely come a long way, and I think you make a really good point as well about Singapore. A lot of countries, man, a lot of countries in Europe and Asia are very homogenous, right? You have a
Hmm.
majority of the population
A
that
lot of
is
countries
one
in
race.
everywhere in the world, really.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. And I kind of take offense sometimes when people say, "Oh, America's got all these." America meaning the United States has all these racial issues, right? They can't handle it because they are just so racist and they're so toxic over there, and they always have problems with the minority groups, et cetera, et cetera. But then again, I also look at America, again meaning the United States, as being a frontier for a lot of these things. A lot of these other countries don't have the same kind of racial mix that the United States does, and we deal with a lot of issues up front, and
Hmm.
it's a lot of it's really ugly. A lot of it's difficult, and it confronts a lot of preconceived notions that a lot of other countries don't have to confront on a daily, weekly, or
Yep.
even yearly basis, right? So we're dealing with a lot of these things, but we're also breaking a lot of ground. And I think that coming from Singapore, again, it's about perspective, right? And I responded to Brandon. I said, look, you just need to have a little more empathy, because if this was, and I didn't say this directly, but I told you and a couple other friends, if this was a joke referring to people of his race, then I think he would actually be more sensitive to it. He'd be
Hmm.
more in tune and say, okay, this I actually see, like, this could offend people. This offends me. I don't appreciate this, and I'm not going to make a video about names like this. But if you're not experiencing, like, the black culture or the Hispanic culture, I can see where, like, some jokes like this might seem far away from you. Maybe it
Hmm.
doesn't feel relatable. Maybe it doesn't feel like you've ever experienced it. But when you are a content creator in a global game and a global community, you need to be aware of this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
And
the
I think that's
audience may
important.
have.
I think the audience, right, is global, and I think he kind of missed that here for a little while. Honestly, I felt like his response, his apology was good. uh it does feel like very formal, very much like a PR kind of thing, but at the same time, like, I've always been big on this. I've told you this before as well, Caleb. If we don't allow people that make mistakes to correct those mistakes and to heal and try to, like, move forward, then we just kind of marginalize other people and we create a lot of other problems as well. So I really do appreciate that he apologized.
Yeah, because he could have doubled down, right? Like, there's people that don't apologize at all, or they like. I mean, like it's even if it seems like a PR thing, like it doesn't even seem sincere, right? Um,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on through Brandon's head, so I can't speak for him there. But at least there's that. And you do mention a great point where he's like, oh, what about like someone that might like use a derogatory term for his like racial background stuff, like maybe he would think differently. And like I think that is a great point. At the same time, too, I think like there's certain words that just hold a lot more historical meaning than others, and like I think like if I'm called like a racial slur, like an Asian racial
Hmm.
slur or something, if and I'm like in China, like I'm like, what are you doing? Like, who cares, right? Like, it's just
Yeah.
like we're gonna
Yeah.
insult like 99% of the population, right? More than that, like you're the I think like what I'm getting at is like the power dynamic is very different, right? When you're in the
Yeah.
majority in a situation, like people are trying to insult you, but you're not going to feel scared, right? You're not going to feel like you don't have the power. You're like, you do whatever, right? you
Yeah,
know
exactly.
um so I think like there in historically, I mean, there's racism in many respects too, but historically, like racism towards black communities or Asian
Mm,
communities, it's different, right? It's not, neither's
yeah,
like good or bad. Right? I mean, they're both bad actually, but like neither's like, we're not going to do like a like comparison like what's worse and stuff, but there are like different meanings behind it. It's like doing anything related to like anti-Semitism in like Germany. That is like,
that's
anti-Semitism is
no,
not
no,
great,
no,
but
no,
like,
no.
dude, you try to even, don't even try, right? Don't even try to joke around. I mean, that's not worth joking around in general, but like, it's like, well, actually, I think hate crimes there is actually illegal in Germany,
Yeah, I believe
and a
so.
couple countries. It's actually not in
Hmm.
the U.S. Like you could there's, I mean, First Amendment, I guess, but you're allowed to you're allowed to write all the racial slurs wherever you want on your house, right? And like have all sorts of symbols hanging around, and it is within your rights as long as your own property, which is kind
Yeah.
of wild. I used to actually, fun fact, I used to work at a college campus, and because of like our open expression policies and the First Amendment, it's a private university, so we could technically limit it, um, but I will say a shout out to the school I used to work at. We try to prepare our students for the real world. So if we say like, if we try to shelter them, be like, no, you can't do this, you can't do this, even though in the real world you could, at least in the U.S., then like we're setting them up for failure. So what we did was we try to mimic the real world as much as possible. So if you want to write a bunch of racial slurs on your door in your dorm room, right? Or like in your bedroom, but like on the door, outside your door, when people like knock on your door, you can. Like it's not against campus policy. You could write racial slurs. You could hang like different symbols of
Yeah,
whatever. I'm not
yeah.
gonna go into
Flag
all that.
symbols, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever you want to do, right? And it's not against the rules, which is wild. But to some people might think, but the thing is, in the real world, in this country, you can, right? In the United States, you can. So like, it's some people are probably listening to this like, what? Like, what is especially if you're not from the US, or like, what? How can you allow that? I'm like,
Yeah, again,
it's
surprise.
yeah, it is. I mean, it's allowed. So it's allowed in the real world. So we allowed it on our college campus. The majority of people did not like. I don't think in my years there anyone actually anyone actually wrote like a racial slur on their door. There was some vandalism, unfortunately, of like a Jewish fraternity, and that was not great. Yeah, that was rough because it wasn't even their property, and they're like, drawing signs.
Yeah.
Here's
That
how
says a
dumb
lot
this.
about the
Here's
people that
here's
do
how
it.
dumb the people were that did it. They were so dumb they didn't even draw the symbols in the right orientation. Just put it that way. Like it was like backwards or something. Yeah, that's how dumb these like kids were.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It,
so but yeah, that was not allowed because it's someone else's property, right? It was someone else's house.
sure.
But
Yeah.
but if it's like on your own, it's fine. Anyway, I don't even know how we got on that tangent. For that stuff, but it was a yeah, it was
It was a
interesting.
learning moment. Yeah. It was a
Yeah,
learning
it
moment
was
for
a learning
sure.
moment, and unfortunately, it looks like based on some of the comments under these posts, it looks like some people have more to learn. But
Yeah. True.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll put it this way, right? Maybe some people will think differently. Would you openly ever say that in public around like a black community? Probably not,
Of
right?
course not.
If you're not
Of
going to
course
do
not.
that, you already know you're in the wrong here, right? And if you think you should, or you're open to it, like don't do it, right? But also like if you know like you shouldn't be, you wouldn't say this in public, like why? What are you doing behind your keyboard? Acting like
Yeah.
like it's not a big deal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
It
It's
just
just,
again, just have a little bit of empathy. That's all it takes.
yeah, yeah. Have empathy. Like, look, the empathy, like you said, is like that's a bare minimum, right? You can go read up on the stuff. You could, like like look into history and stuff. There's a lot of resources you can look into it. This it's not the podcast for that, but there's a lot of resources you could look into to fully understand the issue more. If you actually care, right? Um, if you're not willing to go through that step, maybe you shouldn't be using words that you're not as familiar with. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
anyway, I want to give that context so at least ahead of time that I do know Brandon's stuff, and I've talked to him in the past. We don't
yeah.
talk to each other very often, but I've mentioned it too. So, but
Mhm.
again, it's important to call out people regardless of where they're at and stuff too. I mean,
Yeah,
you know how many times I've argued with my parents about this kind of stuff. I mean, they're not using racial slurs or anything like that, but they definitely have some values that they hold that I don't
yeah,
love, but
yeah.
but
I think a lot of people have that situation, right, with their
yeah,
parents.
yeah,
So
different generations as well. But I will say too, I think we like you mentioned this, especially in this country, there's a lot of racial conflict and stuff. But I think at the same time, it is because of the mixture of different ethnic cultures and racial backgrounds. And dude, I don't know about you, but the kids I see these days and the teenagers and college students, everyone's mixed of something. It's like it's nice to see, right? Because you could tell like their families all
yeah,
come from, you know, um, like their interracial relationships, right?
yeah, yeah. We're slowly destroying that myth,
Mm-hmm.
where you would only see a couple that was the same race,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's fading away, and I think a lot of people need to understand as well. Like the internet came about over the past few decades, but the amount of change in terms of technology and information that humans have gotten is just it's compounded and it's accelerating even faster.
Mm-hmm.
So as young people, we expect things to change quickly, but
Yeah,
that's not the way the world has worked until just a few decades ago.
right.
So I'm not saying like be complacent, but I do think it requires a bit of patience here because a lot of people have built up their entire lives having certain beliefs, and those people are likely not going to change overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a consistent fight, over time.
Yeah. And I think it's just like people aren't seeing the change they want at the rate they are, at the rate they want it to be, but it is still happening fairly quick too, right? I mean, if you think about it, like if you think about how many like interracial couples there are now and like children that come after that, like in a couple years from now, like a lot of people are gonna be mixed, right?
Yeah,
It's gonna be
two
very
two to three
interesting.
generations from now, just imagine how
Yeah,
different everything will look.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
But
But
yeah, I do appreciate that Brandon, he made a misstep and he took it down, he corrected it, he scrapped the idea for the video, and he's moving on from something else, to something else, I should say.
yes.
So, I think that's one of the better outcomes we would have hoped for. Like you
Hmm.
said, if you would have doubled down, it would have been pretty messy. But I think we should give everyone a chance to learn.
Yeah, yeah. I like uh your final words on that. But if you didn't see it on Twitter, eh,
Yeah,
now you
let's
know.
not dig it up, right?
Yeah, it's just
It
well,
won't be
it's
on
it's pretty
screen.
big. Yeah, it won't be on screen. I don't have the screenshot. Yeah, yeah. Speedy's saving it for his own personal archives. I'm just
I got it
messing
from
with
a
you.
friend who already saved it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I know a lot of people took screenshots.
yeah.
But before we go, you mentioned something about Orlando and Bastion, so I'd love to hear it. Let's end on a high note.
Yeah, let's end on that. I think we're gonna see a lot of Shadow along the Ninetales. How much Shadow eventually we see? I don't think we see too much,
But you know what
but I
beats
see
both?
I see Rock and I see Fire as being two big risers here.
You think
I see
fire?
yeah, I think Shadow Kanto Ninetales. You can beat Noctowl straight Weather Ball in the twos, and you win the ones if you land Overheat with Shadow Kanto Ninetales, and then you also beat Trevenant and you beat Along the Ninetales and Registeel and Galarian Stunfisk.
That's actually
So
a good
like
point. But what about Lantern?
Lanterns, what besides Lantern though? Metacham,
Yeah, but
that's
Lantern's
neutral, right?
everywhere. What about
That's
Charizard?
true.
Shadow Charizard.
Azumarill doesn't really exist. I think Charizard because you might see Powder Snow Shadow A9. I don't think we see as much
Well,
Charizard.
Azur's really weird into Ninetales too, because it resists all the charge moves
Yeah,
without running Hydro Pump. So
true, true,
it's kind of a
true.
weird one. Um,
Yeah,
wait, so
Swampert
wait,
has
you
really.
don't think Shadow Charizard?
I don't think so. I think
Shadow
that was a
Charizard's going to
one-time
struggle
thing.
against the Ninetales a little bit,
Yes,
and the Galarian Stunfisk is just like outpaces.
and I think we're gonna see lots of Registeel, and it gets one shot by Registeel. It one shots in return, but it's like back and forth.
So you think Bastion, huh?
I think Basti
I
and
think
Shadow
Bastion's going to make a
K9
further run than Ampharos if anyone dares to bring
probably. Yeah,
Ampharos for
yeah.
Orlando.
I don't see much Ampharos happening.
It's been like one for like each past tournament.
Yeah, yeah. I think Shadow Charizard had its time. I won't be surprised to see a couple of them, but the way Human Catcher Bug played, dude, it's insane. I watched back his recap.
It's
It's
incredible, right?
yeah, a lot to talk about there.
When I saw that, I was like, if I had to fight this guy in Worlds, good thing I got
Ooh.
that Bastion on. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm worried. The problem is,
yeah.
like, if I don't lock the Bastion into it, I'm still like screwed. So,
It's tough, dude. It's so tough.
yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Solid predictions. By the time you all hear this, the Shadow Vent is out, and it's been out for probably about about 12 hours or so for me,
Yep.
maybe a
Hmm.
little more for other people. And
Hmm.
that means that there's been at least like 12 hours or so for regret from Speedy's Chief for claiming that Shadow Registeel. But we'll
We'll
talk about that
see.
next one.
Make sure to tune in next week. We'll show off the IVs. We'll reveal the IVs. I won't
Oh,
post them
you know what?
anywhere.
Maybe we should take a guess. We don't have to bet on this. We should take a guess
Ooh.
on
Okay.
like what your IVs are.
Okay. I know what they will be.
Rank wise. Let's just like over or under like 4,000. Like it's 4,038. It's like the total amount of IV combinations, right?
It's
Y-
top 2,500.
Whoa! You're taking more than half the pie here.
Yeah, dude, that's
All
not a
right, you
huge
know what?
bar.
All right, fine. I'll say below 2,500. Right,
All right.
2,501 and lower.
Okay. I think it's gonna be like a 10-4-7 is what I think it'll be.
A 10-4-7. I feel like it'll be a
Yeah.
middle road for everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? 7-7-7?
Yeah, or maybe it'll be like a 2-7-2,
Something
like
tells me it's
the middle
attack weighted.
finger.
Yeah, middle finger. That's like my Shadow Snorlax. It's like a 2-8-2 or something. Or
Wait,
two
what were we
fifteen
saying?
two.
Yeah.
I
Let's
think
see.
I think mine's gonna be attack weighted though. I have a feeling.
Hmm. That's
Mm.
why you're looking at attack weighted Sims, right? Looking for all the breakpoints to
Yeah. I'll
justify
be
the registeel ahead of time. Honestly,
I'm
the
making my
attack weighted
alibi.
stuff, like that's not even like a big deal. The worst is when the CP hits like such an ugly number. Like I don't even mind a 24.99, like 10.72, right? But when
Yeah.
it's like a 4, like 8, like 10, and it hits like 24, like 60 or something, or ultra, or like a
Yeah,
14,
dude.
like 50 something. Like it's
So rough.
so ugly. You're missing
Dude,
like
I've
because the
a
thing is you lose CMP even if you have good like HP and defense spreads because you're just missing a power up. It's like the worst of
yeah,
both worlds.
you're like half a level too short,
Yeah, and everything. You're losing
under
CMP to
leveled.
like to everything. Yeah, it's awful.
I have a Pheromosa that's like a 11 10 10. I was like, "Oh man, this sucks. I'm so mad." And then I powered it up. It goes to 14.99. I'm like, "Okay, I'll
Do
take
you
it."
actually power it up or you simulate
No,
it? Oh, because it's so bad.
simulated.
It's so bad.
It's so rough, yeah.
All right. Well, we got that. Looking forward to it. Good luck in Orlando. Good luck to anyone going there. I think there are already over 100 players. Let's see if we get to
Yeah.
256 is the maximum. Let's see if we get some more people signed up. If you're in the area, sign up, man. Chance to see Speediest Chief. You
Yeah,
know,
man. It's
great
going to be
time.
fun.
And don't forget the Stardust bet.
Stardust bet. Got you.
Winner gets to choose what the other person powers up.
Yep. Yep.
I can't wait. I
I'm
can't
glad it's
wait.
only one thing.
We're gonna make you make that Ultra League Shadow Registeel.
Oh my god. I think I need XLs for that.
Well, good thing Registeel's coming back in the raids. I planned this all out. We got
There we
it.
go.
We
There
got
we
it.
go.
All right.
All
Until
right.
next time. Peace out.
See ya.